Welcome back. It is the last day here for IESF Asia qualifiers, and it should be a fun one. We've got some interesting matchups for you today as, you hit the final day, you hit a last few bit of qualifier slots being taken, but our first matchup, both teams have already qualified. However, these are the first place teams that are tied with each other, looking to break that tie in a BO3. So I'm joined here by Waxton. This should be a fun one, and you're looking dapper, and I know I've said it to you yesterday, and I knew I said it to you the day before, but you're up in the game, and it's frustrating. You're wearing a turtleneck. I can't pull off turtleneck. I have a turtleneck that I bought, and I wore it once, and I said, I look ridiculous. And now I stick to plain shirts, plain collars. That's it. I just keep it very basic, and then, I can't pull off a turtleneck. I don't know what the trick is.
I'll tell you what my thing is, because day by day, I usually wear quite, I'm like a tracksuit type guy, right? I am just like my sport outfit. But I realized that most of my sporting daily outfits are very monochrome. So then when we go live for our lovely viewers at home, the white balance on my face, it just turns me looking like a ghost. So the only clothes that I like that I own look slightly fancier. So don't worry, Big Up. I'm just a regular dude myself. But I'm glad you're bringing this one up, because the first series of the day is a best of 3. And it is kind of the grand final of the region, right? The question I have for you is, I believe in the Central Asian region, we also had that as the final series, which was Uzbekistan versus Kyrgyzstan. And that kind of wasn't as impactful as I hoped it would be. Do you think that teams really don't care if they're fighting for that seeding slot?
I don't know how much seeding is going to be important in terms of what we've been seeing so far. Especially, I don't really know where everybody's going to sit come the group stage, and I don't know if many people do. So we'll see how seriously people take the seeding stage. I think for India and Nepal, though, this one is potentially a revenge series for India, because the last time this teams met was Road to the Asian Games. Last year in July, and Nepal took that series 2-0. So I'll be interested to see how serious these guys are going to be taking it. Maybe there is like that little bit of we need revenge kind of play there. Yeah. But Nepal beat them 2-0 pretty handily when they won in July of last year. So it was a very interesting matchup, and it did include Krish, who is playing for India. Like that was still the guy to be, on the side of India. There are a couple players from Nepal who are playing on this team. I know Puzzle is one of them. Luris is one of them as well, who is playing with that Nepal squad on the road to the Asian Games. So it's definitely interesting. There's nothing to really be gained in terms of, the win. There's no prize money. They're both teams are qualified, but I'm wondering how much there is to see coming through, especially now that, like, I would say Krish has a little bit more experience under his belt. This has always been one of those guys for me to watch, and he's been getting a little bit more experience under his belt. He played a little bit of time with Execration this year, and then he played a little bit of time in the Elite League qualifiers, the Riyadh Master qualifiers, and TI qualifiers with the Sabang Esports group. So I'm ready to see what these two rosters have, but I'm expecting India to want a little bit of revenge.
So would I. And one of the big aspects, of course, for these nations when they're representing their country is, first and foremost, you want to show to your government in the end, right, that esports deserves to be something that they invest more money in. So if you are, for example, either side of Nepal or India or any of the teams in IESF, and you manage to get first place overall in your region, you can go up to your higher ups, the federation, and then they take it even further and be like, look, these are the results that our team managed to clutch only by themselves. And then now, if you give them extra support, where they can go on the international stage and represent us even more. And for a nation like India, we were just talking in the pre-game, well, in the pre-live show last night. They won the Cricket World Cup, right? So we know India is a very competitive nation in itself. And if they could expand into esports and find even more success than they have over the last, decade, this would be a good starting point.
Yeah, definitely. It would definitely be a good starting point for them. And you're always trying to convince the federations to, like you said, to invest a little bit more. And I think both teams kind of have a bit on the line here where, the qualifications for the Asian Games, those victories did mean something, as we see India's roster. And because Nepal had beaten India, India was an unseeded team, and they went into a group stage at the Asian Games with Kyrgyzstan and Philippines, two teams we've seen in these qualifiers so far. And they ended up 0-2 in that little group stage. It was BO1s, and it was definitely very tough for them when they played both the Philippines and Kyrgyzstan. And Kyrgyzstan had Zayats on it. Like, those were the rosters to beat. But Nepal, they ended up, getting seeded into the playoffs, which they unfortunately ended up losing 2-0 to Kyrgyzstan. But we've talked about Kyrgyzstan. They are a very strong team. Nepal is showing that they can get themselves to some serious results here, and it'll be interesting to see what we see from both these teams. So you see Krish at the top of your lineup there for India. He's always been the household name for the Indian Dota team that's been out there. No Chance is also one of those guys. And if we get a chance to interview HBK, I got to know if it's WWF, that he's the Heartbreak Kid, he's Shawn Michaels, if that's where it's from. That's what I'm hoping for. And I hope during the interview he gives a little bit of the this and then a this, because that's what I need to see. I mean, that is the HBK that I know and love. So if it's not that, I'd be very disappointed.
So not the DX version. Okay, I see. Okay, no,
you can do the DX version. Shawn Michaels, he mixed around a little bit. But the family friendly would be the flex into the point. The DX version is the Attitude Era, which I'm hearing rumors that
it's coming back.
Might be going back to the Attitude Era, which might make me start watching the WWF again. So that's the India roster for you.
I also want to mention No Chance for a little bit. Actually, we'll come back to No Chance when we go through the draft. As right now we have, of course, their opponents. Nepal with Larice, Sisson, Puzzle, Caleb, and Blues. And the highlight player for Nepal for me this tournament has been Larice of B-Cop, taking over games time and time again. First of all, there was a Beastmaster find. The hero was broken. Maybe don't read that much into it. But I believe the Darkseer performances from Larice have also been exemplary, to the point of in their final game yesterday, the respect bans came through, banning 3 offlaners in the first ban phase. The opponents tried maybe to offset Larice, and granted, I believe he then picked a Centaur and had slightly less impact, but they still ended up winning. So I'm going to be quite curious to see how India will approach this upcoming draft phase, and if they're really going to prioritize shutting down Nepal's offlaner.
Yeah, and the Nepalese offlaner, he had an 8-0-20 performance with Viper, which was insane to say the least. And when he was playing in the Asian Games, he only got a chance to play Legion Commander twice. That was the 2 games that they had against Kyrgyzstan. But in the road to the Asian Games, he's played Magnus. He's shown with Beastmaster, and Beastmaster is one of those heroes we've spoken about a lot during these qualifiers. That is just. It's a hero to beat, and I think some teams have figured it out. Hey, go Medusa. We could beat this hero. We could slap it, shut it down. Yesterday, we had some fast matchups that were kind of insane. I think we ended on, that 19-minute game yesterday, but that was the South region, or that was the West region.
Western,
sorry.
Yeah, we are in South now, yes.
And that was a very, very fast game. So, it's always interesting to see what these teams are going to bring out. There are pocket picks that are available. I know that Nepal and India have played Meepo in the past. I'd love to see if that makes it through. I'm interested. I'm interested in what they're going to do, because with no stakes, there's usually something a little bit different coming out.
I'm going to ask you, Bigop, one of the heroes that we keep talking about, because at first, and even yesterday, some games it gets first banned, and then when it doesn't get banned, it's never picked. And that is the Broodmother, right? I feel like both of us were like, what is up with that hero in the current meta? Because in Immortal high ranked games, it has a 55% win rate, which is a lot for an offlaner. And clearly some teams are afraid of it. That's why they're banning it out. But when it's not banned out, why do you think the teams stay away from it? Do you think it because it's quite a risky pick, and if she does get countered and shut down, you just lose one of the maps in the best of 3? Or do you think it's more of a comfort you don't have a good micro player?
I think if you're playing offlane, you should be a little bit of a microer, especially with what's popular right now. You've got Enigma, you have Beastmaster, 2 heroes that you got to micro at least a little bit with. It really depends, because I think Brood is one of those heroes where if it's not it's first phase ban, I think picking it early is always a risk. And if you're not picking it last pick, I think you're putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage, because there are always heroes that can make sure that, hey, you know what, we could switch our draft up a little bit. We got things that can work with it. If you didn't ban a TA, or you didn't ban a Kunkka, you didn't ban something that can take care of these spiderlings, then the Brood's going to end up flopping, right? So
exactly.
When you see it banned in the first phase, I think it's very, hey, we just need to get this hero out of the mix, make sure we're not thinking about it. I don't think it's going to be picked up first. But outside of that, I think it has to be a last pick, or you're setting yourself up for potential disaster. That's why we don't see it when it makes it all the way through.
Imagine we get a Larice Broodmother. I would love that. I'm gonna be honest. Like, they're gonna ban his Beast, they're gonna ban his Seer, they're gonna ban even the Magnus, and then hopefully we get him on the Broodmother to just put on an absolute terror performance. But I do believe that this upcoming best of 3 will be slightly more evenly matched up than the ones we had yesterday, right? Like you mentioned, yesterday it was every single game felt like a walk in the park for one of the sides, and hopefully this, as the equivalent of the grand final for the region, will go a bit better when it comes, to a viewing and casting experience.
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to see some close DOTA. I think we'll get close DOTA. There is history between these teams, like I said.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much these teams know each other, how close they are, and they do have a little bit of history. They have played each other, but it's been a little bit. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's close. We're not on a rolling schedule. I'm always hoping for a full series. Give me 3 games. I really don't care. I've got no stake in the game. I kind of want to see Krish perform, because Krish, when they played in the Asian Games, or the Road to the Asian Games, he was safe laning for them. And now he's mid laning, so I want to see what we see from him and what he's going to be bringing to the table, because it'll be interesting. He's moved around a little bit. He's expanded horizons, and I'm not sure. We'll see.
Similar, like I said, I want to bring No Chance in discussion, because like Krish, No Chance had a bit of a high in career in about 2016, 2018, and that period. But then with the introduction of the DPC, I believe he took a bit of a break, only committing mostly to the Indian squad, playing yearly. But by looking at his recent results on the Wikipedia page, I can see that he's been making a bit of a career resurgence recently, you could say, playing with one of the squads as recent as a year and a half ago, even being on the Winter Bears roster, right? Which obviously, we talked about Winter Bears yesterday. They're now focused more on the Iranian region, but still, No Chance is a player, like I said, that has had the taste of that tier 2 Dota, and the fact that now at age 32 is trying to make a comeback. I think it's a very beautiful story, because it shows, for the longest time, conversations in esports have been about once you're 27, 28, you're already too old. You've peaked, you're out of it. You should probably become a coach, become an analyst, or just move on with your life. But the more I start seeing players age in both Dota and Counter-Strike and other esport titles, we see these 33, 35-year-olds perform. And, because we keep making the parallels with sport, right? Esports and sports could be very similar. Now we get professional athletes that are in their late 30s that still perform at the highest level. I know, as an American, you can probably tell us more about the whole LeBron James playing with his son situation. But even here across the pond, we got, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's getting very rapidly close to 40, and he's still playing for the national team of his country as a starting player. So if athletes can do it in sports, I don't see why in esports we wouldn't be able to extend pro player careers with 5-10 years.
Yeah, I gotta ask you one question before I go any further.
Okay.
How old are you, dude? I'm 31. I feel like I just got targeted right there. I'm 31. I felt like, oh, 30. Oh, fun. You gotta like sports, esports. Are you kidding me, dude? I'm very targeted. That sounded like it came from someone I think you're 23, so I'm just gonna guess. You look young. You look 23, 24. I just felt like you were like, oh, these 30-year-olds staying in the game. What the hell, man? This is a young person sport.
So I've been, I'll tell you how I realized that I'm also not old by any chance, but I'm, getting slightly older. When I was a kid, I used to play FIFA 07, right? So the equivalent of NBA 2K, but like for 2007. And I used to play career mode, and every time or manager mode, every time one of my players would hit 27, I would already consider, oh my God, he's gonna start to devalue. I need to sell him, and then I need to get a younger player that's like, I don't know, 21 to have him for the next few seasons. And now I have reached that point because I am 27, but I'll take the 23. Thank you very much. So I'm starting to be targeted because for the longest time, because I'm also quite a bit of an athlete, I used to play at a semi-professional level, and I always used to be the kid, right, playing with the people older than me. But now I realize the last few tournaments, the last few seasons, I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing with 21-year-olds. This is crazy. I was in school when they were born. Like, that's mental to me.
Yeah, it's I'm wondering if it is an old man and me that is not seeing that, hey, maybe I am just aging out of things, because I have seen it before where I hope that my age doesn't get to me. I felt the injuries. I've played some games of softball and hurt my ankle, and what can you do? I have to try and walk it off and just put some dirt on it, but I'm not as young anymore, so it's not as easy. That's for sure.
So, someone that plays sport, do you think the fall off is greater in sports or in esports? Because, for example, I talked to Black about this at extent, and Black is arguing that right now, somewhat like reflex-wise, he's, if not as good as he was when he was in his prime, maybe even like 0.5% even faster than before. And I know for a fact there was the whole conversation a few years ago with Fear and Sumail running some, I guess, right-click speed or like a hand-eye coordination test when Fear still was outdoing Sumail. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that as someone that plays both sports and gaming?
I think that if you're a professional in sports, I think your availability of ways to slow down your degradation of all those things is very much available for you. Whereas, like, I think the hand-eye stuff and the looking at the screen, it's almost impossible to slow down that degradation and that click speed and everything like that. The athletes that play like hockey and they play baseball or they're playing football or something like that, I think that the availability to just be able to maintain at a specific level is just, it's so much more there for them than it is in esports or just the normal person like me and you. Like, yeah, we've played sports, we've done this, but you really didn't have access to, the stem cells and all of a sudden you're getting massages and you're getting the ice baths and just the everything. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think in esports, it's much harder to stop the degradation that age brings. And I think some people are just fortunate to be able to play later and later into their lives. Because, you think about people like, say, Fear, or maybe even, the example of Solo.
Yep.
Solo's 33. He's playing pretty competitive Dota. So, I think some people are fortunate to not have that degradation as quickly. But you also got to remember, professional careers in esports also start way earlier than professional careers in traditional sports. You're not coming out of college and playing professional baseball until you're 19, 20, 21. Whereas we've got guys who start playing professional Dota 15, 14. And, guys like, XXS, who I believe is still only 24 years old, and he's been playing
For
professional
like 12
Dota
years.
since, forever. So it's been a while. The degradation's not there yet, but they've been playing for illustrious careers for, you get 10 years in hockey, you get 10 years as a footballer. You're pretty stoked, aren't you?
Absolutely. Okay, so that is correct. XXS's first Wikipedia credit at S tier event is in 2015 back at ESL 1 New York for CDEC. No, Team DK. Yep. Wow, that is unbelievable. But something that is equally as unbelievable is this grand final and the draft. I know it's not a grand final, but it's the deciding match between the top 2 seeds. And what a surprise. India starting off with the Beastmaster Darkseer ban, as expected.
Yeah, it's no surprise that we see that. And the Pudge is no surprise either. There's been a bit of Pudge
True.
that we've been seeing. And whether or not the Pudge feels that amazing is in the eyes of the beholder. We've seen a couple of okay Pudge games. I haven't really felt like a amazing Pudge game. We've seen like basic middle ground Pudge games. Nothing that's really been like, oh my God, don't give that guy Pudge again. That's insane.
So I would say, I think me and Black had a few very insane Pudge games, actually. So you've been very unfortunate this qualifier, because you've got the long series, you got not the fun Pudges. But no, there was definitely, I believe, from Kyrgyzstan's Sunset, the stand-in for Zayats, he had like 2 crazy Pudge games. But anyway, we're not going to see it in this first map of the best of 3, but what we'll get is the Weaver, because obviously when you go back for banning the Pudge, letting the Weaver go through is a big risk.
Yeah. Letting the Weaver through is a big risk, but that instant counter of the Rubik, or not really a counter, it's the instant answer. And whether or not it's a full-on counter is, again, I think dependent on what the team picks around this Rubik, but as long as you're stealing Shikuchi, you're doing well. It's something like, you see an Underlord, you kind of want Rubik, you steal Firestorm, you feel great about yourself, you're throwing it back, tenfold. But against the Weaver, I think Rubik's a pretty solid choice. That Shikuchi can really make or break fights, especially if you can keep up with some of these cores with that Shikuchi and get a telekinesis off.
Before we actually see the draft, let's do something a bit different this time around, because let's go for predicting who's winning this series.
It's early, oh my God.
Yeah, let's go. Like who are you backing in this one?
Ooh, man. I mean, technically the results favor Nepal.
Yeah. I'm taking Nepal. If you want to, I'll make it easier for you. I'm taking Nepal because they seem to be the more informed team right now.
I'm going to take Nepal as well. In 2020 as well, Nepal beat India 2-0. Or no. Yeah. In the grand final, they beat them 2-0. But they lost 1-0 in the group stage. So out of all these matchups, India has only won once. So I'm going to take Nepal winning this series.
But if you're an Indian fan, don't be upset with us. Of course, this is just us going a bit over the limb on the momentum that the 2 teams have generated over the last couple of days. Everything could change here. And again, because this is a region that has the luxury of going best of 3, things could be way more complicated than in single best of 1 series. And that's why the draft, especially in Dota, is so crucial. I actually saw a very interesting take the other day on Twitter, which was that the Dota 2 draft makes for a bad viewing experience. And I personally kind of disagree, but I can understand some people's point. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but there's definitely something.
Send it to me.
Okay.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Hit me in the DMs because I have words. I mean, I kind of agree. The Dota draft is a little bit slow. I think it's something that people who are accustomed with the game are going to be happy with. It's something that, I think maybe league drafts and MLBB drafts are a little bit quicker, but there's also there are a lot of options in league. I'm not going to front. There are a lot of options here in Dota, and I think that unlike league, the hero differential is bigger. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of heroes in league that just do the same thing, whereas in Dota, I think every hero does something different.
For the most part, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say for the most part, that's why we obviously get Dota heroes released, especially these days, quite rare, right? I mean, I think we've been waiting for the Ringmaster or Puppet Master, whatever his name is going to be, for over half a year now. I mean, it's TI. It's almost 9 months, right? 6 months into 2024. TI was in September, right?
TI was in October, yes.
Okay, 8 months. We're 8 months away from it, and we're still waiting for a new hero. And what even was the last hero we had added to the game? Was it Dawnbreaker? No, can't be.
No, it wasn't Dawnbreaker. It was. Let me take a look at the hero list because I feel like I should know this. It wasn't Dawnbreaker. It wasn't Void Spirit. It wasn't Dark Willow. It wasn't Hoodwink. Was it Hoodwink?
Marcy, maybe?
Ah, yeah, it probably is Marcy. That might make sense. It's just been a while. Everybody just feels. Oh, it's Muerta. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Yeah, Muerta was the. I
don't want to fault that, right? Because obviously, also a year ago, we got the impressive patch since Dota Reborn that changed every single hero, right? So it kind of felt like all the heroes were new. And now with the addition of facets and innate abilities, again, completely adding a couple of extra layers to each and every single hero. So at the same time, you can't be adding heroes forever. Let's say hope that Dota has longevity and it keeps going for another 10, 20 years. What are we going to get to 200 heroes if we keep releasing 5 every year like the other game does? So it's a back and forth. But I can also imagine, right? You've got the likes of Rubik, you've got the likes of Morphling, and potentially even Puppet Master in the game, which have these odd interactions with, copying, stealing abilities. That in itself must take so much work, even when you add just a new hero.
Yeah, definitely. Puppet Master is what's allegedly being released next. I know there's rumors at Bird Samurai being released after that. There was talks of that when the comic came out recently during the most recent event. There's also people who have had this idea in their head that Dota was going to import some Han heroes. And that was always an interesting take from me that I thought that we might see that. And as well as the fact that I'm still waiting on Gambler. I would love to see Gambler come into the mix. That is a hero that everybody hated, and I'm such a big fan of toxic heroes. So
that makes sense.
Not techies, though. I hate techies. I will stand by that, but I do like a good Tinker game.
Oh, so I love it. Okay. So I love techies as a hero design, and I like techies' voice lines. Do I like techies in my games? Maybe not so much, right? I think if we could have techies just kind of exist there, like the shopkeeper, right? Give techies a job. Give him a job on the map, and then you can't play him in game, but you can still interact with him. I'll be happy with that. That's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
What are these picks? Okay, Disruptor, Rubik, Troll. Oh, I've got to get your thoughts on this one, Big Up, because Disruptor for me is an incredible hero. It has been an incredible hero even before 736. Then it was S tier, right? It was him and Shadow Demon and Chet. The top 3 picks that you needed to ban, or you would losing the game if they were picked against you. The patch came in. The hero didn't get nerfed, and obviously he got a facet and, 2 facets and an innate ability. But people are playing it considerably less. It's still being picked, but why are they not playing it or valuing him as much as they were previously?
I think they're just better supports right now. You kind of fall down the ladder a little bit in terms of supports that are available. And that happens. I think there's some teams that are going to value it higher because they're better with it. But natively, I think right now it is not the highest ranked support. I think there are plenty of other options to take. And we've seen a couple of disruptors throughout this qualifier, but not as many.
Yeah,
I know one was using the kinetic fence, which I do like. The other facet's okay. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's just everybody gets hit within the kinetic field with Thunderstrike. It's whatever. I don't know. You're really here in terms of Disruptor and getting that glimpse and having that ability to take heroes out of the fight. The kinetic fence is nice because you get 2 of them, so you can kind of dictate where heroes are going, especially if you're trying to kite somebody out, which maybe you're trying to do with this Slardar. But you've seen now that Nepal, they've switched this Weaver up. He's not going to be going into the core role. That's a flex pick they picked first. It's going to be this Life Stealer that comes into the mix, and against that Disruptor, Lifestealer is going to feel pretty strong. And I'm wondering if this is a quick Ags game for Lifestealer against the Troll. It would make sense. They do have ways to kite this Troll. I'd like to see one more way to kite this Troll. From the mid position, they already banned the Ember. They don't want Searing Chains on this Troll. They don't want that lockdown. But I would almost go as far as to say get rid of, Pango works, or we could see Void Spirit again. We've been seeing more and more of that. The Aether Remnant and the jumping away from Troll would feel pretty good as well.
The only concern I have, which is a slight concern, not a big one, this is a pretty greedy lineup. Weaver Hoodwink as a support duo kind of shouts greed at you. Both heroes want to get some sort of items, of course, be it the Spirit Vessel for the Hoodwink, the Atos into the Gleipnir for the Hoodwink, or Maelstrom into Gleipnir, then potentially even an Aghanim Scepter later on for the Weaver. So there's a bit of a risk with that, but otherwise the 4 heroes look very, very good to me. You get the Swarm plus the Corrosive Haze as well for the armor reduction, which is going to enable more of the Hoodwink Acorn Shot bounces to do more physical damage. It's looking really good, and I don't hate Indians' draft either, but looking at the mid laner that they might want to pick here, something maybe to join up with the bubble tactic that they have, because of course we got Arena, Static Storm, they're taking out like you said, the Ember and the Pango, whereas Razor and Lina will be taken out from Nepal, and it's going to be Storm Spirit.
Similar idea.
Yeah.
Similar idea. Has a little bit of lockdown. Going to give you that vortex. I like it. It's got, again, initiation or escape away from this Troll. India needs something that is, going to give them a bit more. We saw an Invoker. I wonder if we'll see another Invoker. Like Rubik Mars is such a classic lineup. You have a Sunstrike in there. I think you'd be a little bit happy, but Sunstriking this lineup of Nepal is not easy.
What about OD?
OD's all right. I like him. You go to the Astral Imprisonment, it's fine, especially when you've got heroes like Slaughter that want to jump in and just be in the middle of the mix. It's going to be tough because you've got 2 heroes on Nepal that really don't... Like, Weaver's in and out of the fight, but Hoodwink's going to be on the edge of the fight. And this TA... it's okay if it can jump these heroes, survive the initial lockdown, and burst them down. But I think long extended fights, India might have some trouble because there's the Infest Bomb or the Infest Out with the Ball Lightning and this Lifestealer. Like, they have that go-to combo. Hoodwink from the edges of these fights is going to be annoying with these Bushwhacks. Sardar is going to be another initiator with good minus armor early. And then the Weaver and the Hoodwink, both we've seen in the past, build Rod of Atos. So the lockdown's going to be there, and the issues can definitely be there for India if they don't play these laning stages right.
But they are going to go for this TA, and it's going to be Krish trying to put the team on his back, which I think is going to be quite good. Templar Assassin is usually very good at killing Lifestealer, right? So you got long range. I expect her to get a pike, maybe as a 5th item after she gets, the usual, the Dragonlance, the Blinks, the Shards, the Desolator. So she might have ways of repositioning, and the Aghanim Shard on Templar Assassin is a very good counter to Storm's Fury, right? That zone silence, Storm likes playing very greedy these days, so we don't really see Storms going for Yule Scepter. I guess the defensive item that was favored last patch for Storms Words is the Eternal Shroud, but again, it doesn't really deal with the silence problem. And then, Psyblade's damage in Arena. It's going to be very, very interesting, as both teams have quite different approaches, right? We got the very fast pace, run at you, try to pick you off lineup from Nepal. And there's a bit of that from India, but also a big teamfight component, which I think might be what is going to help India survive through the mid game.
Yeah, India really needs to land some decent Static Storms here, otherwise they could be in trouble. But I think the odds of doing that are a little bit tough, especially the second there's a Rage available for Lifestealer. He's getting through here. Hoodwink's most likely not going to be caught in the Static Storms because you're on the edge of the fight.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an issue. We could see early BKB here maybe for Storm, but Storm's also trying to get off to the races. We've seen Storms kind of jump up and really get a lot of galvanized stacks early. It's kind of gross. I think it was yesterday that me and Black saw Storm at like 24 galvanized stacks before they had level 3 in Ball Lightning. It was pretty disgusting.
I mean, that sounds kind of mental, to be honest.
Yeah, it was rough. What game was that? What did me and Black cover yesterday together? That's really the question. We covered Iran and Jordan. Was that the game that had the Storm in it? Yes, it was. It was a 25-minute game with Storm Spirit in it, and the Storm went 10-1 and 10.
My goodness.
Yeah, that is quite the quick build up here, and it was Treads, Orchid, Meteor Hammer, Witchblade, and that Meteor Hammer, of course, giving that amplified mana regeneration. So that is always a big item to have.
Now, do you think if we go ultra late, let's assume the Storm will become big as well, right? He'll farm properly. Ultra late, would you still favor Nepal at that point, or would they get outscaled by the Aghanims on the Disruptor that kind of shuts down all of the other ways, all the rages and the BKBs that might come out, and of course Templar, Assassin plus Troll are very good at scaling as well? Or do you think Lifestealer plus Storm can keep up with that and still defeat them if needed with the Aghanims on the Stealer?
I mean, there's always a chance that I think India pull this out late, but you said it earlier in the draft, right? Like, this is a greedy lineup.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 heroes in Weaver and Hoodwink that, truthfully, if they needed to, could transition into cores. If not already, one of them's going into like a Gleipnir and has that Maelstrom, and Hoodwink does a lot of damage throughout the entirety of the game. So it'll be interesting to see late if this works out, because Rubik and Disruptor don't exactly scale amazingly well. Like, yeah, you get that Ags on Disruptor and you have that upgraded Static Storm, but like, then what? What do you do? Like, and I'm not saying the Static Storm is nothing, but I am saying, like, okay, but what else are you doing for me? So we'll have to see.
I'm just thinking, there's not even that many amazing things for the Rubik to steal. Like, I guess Bushwhack would be good, and Slithering Crush, but then if you put yourself in, you steal Crush, you jump in, you blink, stun, you just die.
Shikuchi's a good steal. Corrosive Haze is a good steal. Ball Lightning's whatever.
But that's kind of like
is a good steal.
Early mid game, right?
Yeah.
Because if we go, like, we're talking about like ultra late or late ultra late game, at that point that doesn't make as much impact. Okay, you got a Rubik that's running with with Shikuchi is not that impactful. I guess at the same time, if the Rubik does have a hell of a game and we get to that point where he has Ags and steals Electric Vortex, then maybe that's another big potential teamfight component. But again, that is a huge if.
Yeah, of course, and that's kind of the thing that Rubik games run on, right? Like,
yeah,
what if I get this Ags? What if I steal the X, Y, and Z? So it'll be interesting. And they might have just gotten this Hoodwink with that glimpse. It put him right next to MNZ, and that's an easy first blood caused by HBK and gotten by HBK. Hoodwink playing a bit too far forward, threw an Acorn shot that I think they thought that Acorn shot was going to be like a deterrent, but it wasn't. And now there's another kill over bottom, and you've lost both supports. So already India kind of coming out to make something happen, and that's pretty big.
But this is as expected, right? The greedy supports, Hoodwink Weaver. Yes, Weaver can be very annoying now with his Germinate attack being innate ability, but at the same time, you don't have a stun, or you don't have a reliable stun if you're the Hoodwink, especially if you take the Acorn shot level 1. You can't take Scurry to get out there, so I'm not quite surprised, but no chance here.
Yeah, this is a little bit of revenge, and that's kind of to be expected.
Ooh, wow, beautiful spear.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage you don't want to be taking. You only have 3 charges on that stick. Oh boy.
If the stun would have connected from the spear under the tower, the lifestealer would have been dead. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. I'm a little worried because Nepal is happily eating that damage there, as this Hoodwink is 1 shot from dead and almost dying, but he's fine. He's fine. They're eating a lot of damage down there as if they're not easily punished. Like, Rubik Marslane is a classic duo in telekinesis spear combos. So I'm interested to see how well this lane goes. But what lane sticks out at you the most, if you want to break it down?
It's definitely not the mid lane. The mid lane is probably the most boring one unless we get rotations, which has seemed to be the case for the entirety of the tournament. I think probably this bottom lane, right? The top kill, it was just a bit of an overcommit from the Hoodwink. That's why he got punished. Otherwise, Disruptor is not a lane killer in any sort of capacity. Maybe, again, the Slardar if he can get on top of the Troll, but the Troll with the misses should be fine. I'm quite surprised to see Sisson doing, well, tanking a lot of damage just because he wants to get the creep, but I was wrong. Apparently, it was the top lane. Hey-ho. What can you do?
Yeah, you know, you win some, you lose some, and HBK, he loses some. This is a lane that can get kind of dangerous. With Slardar, you know, your farming spell is now the Slithering Crush. And when you're able to have it at higher levels, when you've got a slow duration that goes up of 5-6 seconds, as Disruptor without boots, you're wondering what the hell you do. That's the truth, you know? Especially slow duration sets you up for just getting bushwhacked and an acorn shot. And once you get a second level and acorn shot, that's when you start really eating some damage. But Blues dying here. Bottom, yeah. Evil Ash getting that kill. And that's a lifestealer getting taken out by the spear. So that's Fade Bolt, that's Telekinesis. Combo with the spear, took equal damage between both heroes. And again, I think Nepal just a little bit too willing to eat damage in this bottom lane. That causes something like that to happen.
Kind of overzealous, and we kind of saw a bit of that from them yesterday. They played well in the first map of the day, but then it took a while to actually warm up and become the beast later on throughout the day. So it might be a similar scenario here. They're not fully awakened, not fully prepared for this. And we see them actually kind of trailing behind in every single lane when it comes to last hits already. And Evil Ash wants to put pressure even more onto Blues' lifestealer.
Like, I don't mind if that death is the Weaver, because then he could TP mid and refill this bottle on the Storm. But when it's the Lifestealer, he's not willing to make that move. And this might be big, because now you've got the Swarm, you're looking for the damage, and you'll get a kill and a Krish. He was beating up on this Storm Spirit, but he got a little bit too aggressive. He's under a tier 1 tower, and there's the ability to make sure that you can go and TP. Slithering Crush, Blood Grenade, and Luris is trying to get a kill on HBK, and it will be a Hoodwink that gets it. Ooh, Fairy Fire and the survival under the tower, which means MNZ, with no punish, gets that kill on Slardar.
That was kind of tragic.
Weaver, but it's already a 2,000 net worth lead for this Dire side, and they're going to get another kill on the Hoodwink, just running down this hero, and a glimpse onto the Weaver, who is still trying to kill HBK, and I think he dies here to the Troll if he's not too careful. You go into range mode, and maybe you kill puzzle. You solve the puzzle.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So, yeah. Depends on which side you're rooting for, of course. Look at that. Is that a triple creep wave in the jungle? Nice deny from Puzzle. He doesn't want to waste all that time. But MNZ doesn't want to really let Larice get all these last hits, because there's a lot of creeps under his T1.
Yeah, this is a good level for him. Especially if he keeps it solo.
Ooh, Sisson's rotating up top, but Calum is only level 2, minute 6.5 on the Hoodwink. This is a very hard start for
can't believe he's only level 2. They have a lot of lockdown. There's no level 6 on the Troll. Him being that far forward is a bit of a Monka moment.
What was he trying to achieve? Okay, I get it. He wanted to maybe deny or pressure Larice a bit to miss some of the last hits, but there was no creeps for him to farm there, right? There was a triple creep wave hitting the tier 1 tower. Just go, I don't know, pull for yourself, hit the neutral in jungle.
He put some good damage on the tower. I respect that part. I think, though, there was a point in time where you could say to yourself, all right, I need to get back, because then I'm just giving up something. And, you know, now that gives good experience over to Laris, and they're close in terms of experience. They're almost going to have that level 6 and have that corrosive haze, and that'll push them right on the edge of it. So experience-wise, MNZ and Laris are caught up.
Okay, Caleb was
MNZ is going to go back in the jungle to get a Battle Fury, so Laris will have this lane by himself in a moment.
Caleb was level 2 about 40 seconds ago, and now he's level 4.5. That is not what you want to do if you're India. You actually want to keep applying the pressure, but not necessarily overcommit, because if you get punished, it starts slipping out of your way. But look at the pressure. MNZ, he's getting pursued.
He does have that ult, that battle trance, but I don't know if he even gets it off with the Slithering Crush. But now it's like, hey, we can pull you and we can kite you. So right now, Krish is going to come and try and clean up, and he does have some help from No Chance. If the Storm was up here, I would think that this is a great spot for Nepal, but he's not. So I could see them getting the kill on MNZ, but I'm going to call it now. Laris dies and Kalem dies. Puzzle has Shikuchi to get away. I think MNZ, Laris, and Kalem die unless Kalem doesn't commit.
I think MNZ dies and Laris gets out of there. I don't see how they catch up to him, in all honesty. There's like a few more seconds, second and a half more of battle trance. And yes, they're going to chase it. But
Starter doesn't have Guardian Sprint right now.
Yeah, but the TP is available. The Rubik's quite far, isn't he? Telekinesis is not a huge range.
But he's still staying for MNZ's death, right? So the battle trance is going to have to wear off first.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay. He turns around for that, and now he just dies to Mel Strike.
Does he? No way he gets through this. Yeah, there's the trap. Okay.
I shouldn't doubt myself.
Wow.
I told you, be calm. Come on, you got to believe in me sometimes. You made me doubt myself.
I mean, that's a decent juke. But I was right with Kalem dying, so I got some of it right. I got 2 out of 3 parts there.
Were you predicting that Mars? Were you predicting that the Mars is going to get Kalem though?
I don't have to go into too much detail. I just said whether or not they'd die.
True.
Cut me some slack.
This Troll Warlord has only 30 last hits, but has 14 denies, and they could add up. Oh, down bottom, lose.
MNZ bottom? I mean, I get it. They've got the arena. There is no infest. Blues is not level 6, and he's a little bit far away from it, but now they've got the help from Cezanne, and this is getting Evil Ash, and they do not have a battle trance. So both these heroes dying is awful.
And the courier that had the cornucopia on it, that probably was the worst play that they could have done. And they didn't even kill the Lifestealer pre-level 6. He has nothing. He had phase boots just flying to him now.
Damn, they really gave that back.
Did the Spear of Mars not connect in the arena? Like, I don't know how you don't burst in there.
Rage, I believe, after the arena went up.
Okay. Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe we'll get the replay for it, or if not, it's still tragic. India had a pretty solid, like, minute 5 to 9, and right now they've completely fallen under the radar. We have another potential kill up top.
Yeah, Acorn Shot level 2 really does start to suck. And you've got level 4 on the Slithering Crush, so you do have the availability to kind of just do that. Corrosive Haze is there too.
Get some stacks going in the triangle. Okay, that was not
a puzzle. It is standing there.
Yeah.
Blocking that camp. That's an unfortunate one.
You got the regular camp, not the ancients. That's at least something. So they do have a lot of stack killers on the side of India. Even the Mars kind of is good dealing with not ancients, but regular neutral creeps, right? So should be fine. Also, the Slaughter is rushing an Orchid on the off lane, by the way. But set up that bottom.
Boy, Bushwhack. These TPs are coming in. They might want to leave.
Okay, they didn't want to overcommit, but we also have the Infest onto Puzzle, who's going to TP right away to mid.
Yeah, so off that, I think the move there should have been Ball Lightning into a Vortex if you kept the mana to kill Krish, but didn't go for it. I was a little surprised because that definitely felt like that was the move that they were wanting to make happen. A little shocking.
Yeah, a bit of a stalemate here. I gotta say, when we're looking at this bottom lane, I love that Observer word placed from the Radiant just up of the tree line, revealing the low ground and, of course, the TPs onto the lane to see if any rotations. And it's not really a common spot for a sentry to be placed to do word. So I expect that Observer to, expend its full duration.
Yeah. So much more common spot, as I'll hold that thought for a second, as the Swarm is placed on these heroes, but won't do anything, and Mars actually stops that TP. But the much more common spot when you're placing that ward is right up on that flag that's there on the bottom lane.
Yeah.
And putting it off to the right still gets you that vision, that info if anybody's coming from that bottom tier 1. And it gives you that crossing point too. So it'll be a little bit more out of sentry range, like you said. It feels very X-Nova-ish.
Oh, nice catch bottom, but they don't want to fight for more. Glimpse?
Ooh, Glimpse? Into Static Remnants, I don't really, I don't think that's really balanced if it's going to be in your face in the air like that, but sure.
Puzzle?
You may not have it for long with the Bushwhack landing. They get the kill there on a no chance, and Puzzle's able to Shikuchi and scurry away with an urn. Ooh, the trap's there, and they drop down the arena looking for Calum. They'll get that spear kill. They still want this Weaver. They've got the Glimpse. HBK running him down with the open wounds, also has the Rage. Kinetic Field is not going to be up in time, and the Rage is not going to wear off in time for him to survive that. And with no arena, Blues can kind of just stay here.
They're going for more.
They don't really have much to fear, but now with Cezanne not having a lot of mana after being speared onto the low ground, going for this might feel a little bit less palpable.
He had the Arcane Rune, that's why Cezanne wanted to go for that, I believe. But again, still, you expend less mana, but you still need the mana to expend it at first.
Good.
Puzzle?
Puzzle, that was, that ain't it.
That left me puzzled.
Yeah, the Vortex, or not the Vortex, the Static Remnant that he stole just did so much damage to him, I think.
I kind of love the static slide still from the Rubik. It just makes the Remnant massive for some reason. I think that is an interaction.
Glitch out.
Yeah, it's not the way it's meant to be. It will be sorted out, I assume, at some point in the future, but I'm glad we have it. Because if you steal the regular Remnant with no static slide, it just has the regular Rubik size.
Static Storm down onto the Storm Spirit, so they need this kill, and they just don't have the damage, and there is no arena available for the moment. The Sharpshooter's in, the Slytherin Crush lands, and they bring over the Troll. Puzzle is here. They don't have an arena yet, but can they get anything more? A two-man Bushwhack and the Acorn Shot. The Crush is off the mark. There's the arena off cooldown. Spear lands on a Puzzle. They get the kill onto the Weaver, but they might lose more. Sardo's trying to man-fight this 3v1 and needs to run, but with the slows, they'll be okay, but Storm's not. The Glimpse damage is there. Now Laris dies, and they're going to get themselves Calum, and all of a sudden, Nepal, this feels terrible. Wow.
So they started off very well, focusing the Templar Assassin, revealing the Orchid on Slardar. Then they did even better by taking the tier 1 tower, and I think that's kind of how they baited themselves into pursuing even more. If the tower would have stand, they would have probably backed up, but they killed the tower and they were like, oh, now we can go for more. But in killing the TA and the tower, they've expended some HP, a lot of mana, especially from the Storm, and then they had no more tools to follow through with that. So that was very costly. Losing 4 heroes, very, very bad.
Yeah, both these teams kind of throwing back and forth and not throwing like that they're throwing the game, just the net worth is going back and forth and things are, not working out the way that each team would hope, I would say.
They're throwing punches and they're not really connecting.
Yeah. So, 1,000 net worth lead here for India, and a smoke attempt from the side of Nepal.
Yeah, they got to put the Orchid to use now. That's why you go Orchid first on the Slardar. And you don't want to go farm because the lifesteal is so far behind, so he needs the space to farm. So they're going to walk into 3 players.
Good blink out, and already
what a
amazing static storm from HBK. With the arena, the stolen Bushwhack. Yep. That's the thing that can happen in Rubik games. You find the right spell at the right moment and you turn things around. And that was all set up because HBK dropped a static storm immediately, and a great blink out by Krish.
Shades of Shawn Michaels and Triple H right there. Beautiful static storm into arena. The bubble completely obliterating anything that Nepal was trying to do there. And now they're invading the Radiant Triangle. Look at the Templar Assassin hitting away some of the neutral creeps. And this is pretty rough for Nepal. And that is because Blues is having probably the worst game we've seen him had on a position 1 carry all tournament long.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, his lifestealer is really not getting a lot out of the game. And you're farming up against a troll that has Battle Fury. So it ain't easy.
He also went our armlet first because he felt very much pressured, so he couldn't rush the Radiance, but that's... I mean, at this point, we might be looking at a minute 21 Radiance, which is considerably late.
Math-wise, what is he? He's 1,100 away from the Relic, 1,300 away from the Talisman. That's 2,400. You're looking at, yeah, about a 22, 23-minute Radiance right now, based on GPM. But obviously that changes if they get some kills here, which they could, especially infest bombing somebody. Problem is you lost a couple of these heroes real quick, and their games got shut down, and TA is one of those dangerous heroes, especially once this Deso gets picked up, that you might just lose all your map space as a lifestealer too.
At least you have the Kaya now flying to the Storm Spirit, but he is going to go for BKB next, and he's very far away. He only has 5 galvanized stacks, but at least we see Puzzle baiting out some utility. He will die in the process, but, you know, Static Storm's used. When he respawns, they can maybe go for something while that spell is in cooldown. Unless Larice dies here. No, he needs to get out. Has the blink. Has the blink.
I didn't realize Krish also has the Shard.
Yeah.
He's
the
like
classic build.
Omega farmed, and there's the arena. Larissa's gonna die. They caught up with him. I mean, that's because No Chance has Guardian Sprint, had Shikuchi at some point, is able to make up that ground, also has a Blink Dagger. There is so much that is just gap closing there. Wow.
I think this is not a good start. If Puzzle is the only one that tanks there, that's perfectly fine. You know, Slaughter goes away, they reset as soon as he respawns, and they go for more. But at this point, India is hitting that tempo snowball, and this is what I predicted. They're going to put the Disruptor and the Arena of Mars to use in the mid game to take over it, which is great. Whereas at the same time, Nepal's tactic, which was the running at you, can't really be completed because you need a BKB on Storm and you need your Lifestealer to have the Radiance for that to be a possibility. And neither of those have the necessary tools for it. So far, so good if you're a supporter of India.
Yeah, looking good, and they're hitting a good timing. The later this game goes, the more I would say Lifestealer is going to feel effective, as he's almost got this Radiance. He is finding a good amount of farm, and he is getting closer and into that Radiance quicker than I thought.
I guess
but at the same
21,
time, it's Battle Fury, BKB now here for Troll, so you're going to have to try and kite all that out, and they've been struggling to escape from fights here on the side of Nepal, and they need these BKBs, so Storm's going to have to get his. He's already got the Kaya Witchblade. BKB is going to be super necessary for him, and then Larissa is also going for a BKB. At some point in this game, I think Blues is also going to need a BKB. I know he's got Rage, but the Rage BKB just gives you so much time to really go through these fights.
Yeah, but then if he gets BKB, that's probably slowing down his Aghanim's progress, right? And then if you do get BKB, how late do you get it, right? You get Radiance, Ags, and then BKB, and you gotta hope at that point Disruptor doesn't have his Blink Ags, which I don't think he will, actually. I'm just looking at the inventory of HBK. He's going Solar Crest into 4-staff, so he's really playing the position 5, allowing the Rubik to get some more of the farm. You're going Roche, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you've got minus armor, you've got the Deso. Roche is the right timing.
What else is there to say? I mean, they're not even pushing the mid and top lanes either to maybe try to force some TPs back. It's going to be a pretty clean Roche. They're at least claiming the Wisdom Rune, and we'll get the Shard onto Puzzle's Weaver. So it's for a support Weaver, the Shard kind of sucks, right? If you're a core Weaver, it's phenomenal. It's a must-have. I think Weaver and Tiny have great shards, but only when they play it as cores. Then if you get the Tree Grab or the Weaver Shikuchi attacks all units, damage is not achieving anything.
Puzzle is gonna die eventually here. This feels like a long-winded inevitability, and especially if he goes back into the kinetic field, they're actually trying to put the damage on to Evil Ash.
They're fighting into
they've
Aegis.
got the Solar Crest and the ball lightning in with the Infest. Static Storm again, but they don't have the instant damage to follow that up. MNZ's gonna pop the BKB. Here comes the TA. Now Puzzle and Realist die. They've got the double silence. These traps are becoming a nuisance, and yes, they can kill HBK, but now Lifestealer fighting against MNZ, he's silenced. He can't fight this. He's gonna die here, and the Storm's looking like they may be next. TP attempt.
Is dying.
Oh gosh, I can't believe it.
Wow. I don't know how he got away there, but the Hoodwink's still in the area. Halo?
I don't know why he's even messing around here.
I mean, Big you told me about Krish before we even started seeing the draft, and Krish is having a hell of a game. And I think, yes, there was a bit of mistake. He had no TP, and Nepal spotted there was no TP on Templar Assassin. That's why they went for the fight. But because the Arena and Static Storm came through early enough. Oh, never mind.
They don't have Arena. But they don't need it. Oh, I say that. Puzzle surviving. They didn't quite have the damage. Now the glimpse back and the ball. Oh. This is all honestly not awful for Nepal because now Storm's got BKB just about.
Yeah, I was saying Krish is
double
playing
BKB timing is going to be huge.
For the side of
Nepal. They're going to have it on Slardar and they're going to have it on Storm. So the Static Storm's not going to feel as devastating, and neither is this Arena. Lifestealer is also going for his, and he's got this Radiance. So if they get this triple BKB timing, they're in a good spot. But it's got to be... I think the double BKB timing's fine. I think they can fight off that. If they want to wait for the triple BKB, they can. The fight, though, that comes from that has to be good. Man, Puzzle's a real pain in the ass, isn't he?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And he's going Halberd. I like that. He's
made a lot of space. He's made a lot of space, and they really struggle to kill him. And even when they do catch him, because they caught him a few times, they have to waste a lot more than you would want to use for a support. So it's great to see that he's doing some of the lifting, but at the same time, his cores are not keeping up in any aspect, right? I guess the Son on the Storm Spirit is doing relatively well, and the Slardar has hit his item timings, but the Lifestealer has been completely shut down this game. I think like Blues has been an absolute non-factor in my eyes.
He's been a non-factor, but I don't expect him to be keeping up with Troll and TA. They just farm too quickly. Like they're just natively, especially with the Battle Fury now for Troll, like TA is natively a much faster farmer, and Troll with the Battle Fury is a much better farmer. BKB is close here for Laris, but they've got the glimpse, and it might slow down if he doesn't get out of this. Guardian sprint slowed down for a moment.
They're jumping in mid, though. They want to get something back.
No chance is dead to Blues to get that kill, and Laris, blinks and salves. Mars still wants him. Mars, this might be too far. Evil Ash, you gotta be careful. Good, Evil Ash, by the way.
Octarine?
Yes, but what I was thinking is Evil Ash is from the Evil Dead horror movie. I don't know if that's his reference. Yes, I believe Evil Ash is in the second one.
Well, if we get a winner's interview and we have Evil Ash, we'll ask them about that. By the way, Bigop, this Templar Assassin is not far off at all from a Daedalus, because the courier's next to her, so she's gonna have it now.
Luris again, man.
Yeah.
What happened? He was free to leave. He comes back top. I don't know if that is like purposeful space made, but he was so close to having a BKB.
That is, I'm glad we both had the same reaction. That was questionable to say the least. But now Blues, they're lining up. They're beelining for him, actually.
his BKB is just a couple hundred gold away. When Sardar was closer to his BKB a while ago than Blues was, and now it looks like Blues is going to get his first, which is shocking.
You know the one thing,
but it is going to be this triple BKB timing for the side of Nepal, which is huge.
The one thing that Nepal do have when they get their BKBs is there's no more Aegis on India's side. If they somehow get on top of Krish went for the fully greedy build. No BKB, and Pike, like I said, will be the 5th item. That means still no BKB. So you have the tools to take her out if you don't get, again, bubbled up by the arena plus Static Storm. So you kind of got to split the fight up somehow, but you've got the heroes for it, right? The Weaver, Storm, and Slardar are very good at doing that.
Pike will only be the next Templar Assassin item if Krish doesn't die in the next 3 minutes or so. If Krish dies and they see the BKBs, I think the switch gets made. That's why he's not buying anything yet. Also, he doesn't have the slots. He has the bottle and he just wants to straight up upgrade. But I do believe that if he dies within the next few minutes, he'll swap.
MNZ gets the Tormentor. It's going to be Aghanim Shard, Telekinesis on teammates for No Chances Rubik, and Aghanim Scepter fully done for the Troll Warlord. That's going to be a really, really tough one for the next team fight. It's going to be even more of a menace than he has been, but there's a smoke up from the Radiant side.
Yeah, this is triple BKB timing. This is exactly what you want. You also picked the Halberd on Puzzle, and they find Evil Ash. Blink, Slither, Crush, the Infest pop. There's a kill. Static Storm is used. These heroes, they do have their BKBs, but knowing that nothing is coming their way, none of them decide to use it. They don't feel forced to use their BKBs just yet. And now after going after Krish, this is where the BKBs could come into handy, and they're still holding them. There's so much patience. They get the kill on a Krish. They'll take out HBK. The Sharpshooter hits on the Rubik, who has Shikuchi, so there is some distance to get away, and I'm watching Krish's items. Yeah, he queues up BKB immediately.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, right? And this is a problem that happens a lot.
Did anybody use BKB? Sorry to cut you off. No, but not one of them used BKB.
I mean, there was no need, right? They didn't die. Well, they didn't tackle the damage of the Static Storm. They're like, oh, okay, we're good.
It's not just that, though, but it's also dealing with potential trap silences. Like, they were just confident enough. Sometimes you BKB, even if it's not necessary, just to know you can play that confidently. But the patience to not pop any of them, that's crazy. They still all have 9-second BKBs.
And now this
which means somebody's going to fat finger.
No, that's not happening. I think we've seen plenty of Nepal this week to know that they're not going to make such a mistake. And now, despite playing 5k deficit, they still have the advantage, and they want to fight for more. Static Storm still in cooldown, although they are TPing to defend.
But the BKBs are available. Like, Storm survives here, he just BKBs. And now they go back in. They've got Rage. There's Static Storm now, but it doesn't matter. With BKBs now running out on Larissa as well as Storm, they need to be careful because they've lost their minus armor on Larissa. They get the kill on a Krish. The damage is taken care of. They hit that Bushwhack. They get the kill on the Evil Ash. They've got the Dust used on No Chance, who had that Shikuchi, but he's got his own Bushwhack. Cezanne doesn't have a BKB. They'll go into the Battle Trance, and they've got the Disarm. So Puzzle right there, waiting for this. They've got the Vortex. They have the kiting potential, and this game is now Nepal's. They have full control of this one.
No, Roshan
the BKB timing was everything.
And they got to get Roche as well. And Krish, because he just died back-to-back now, still needs about 2,500 gold to complete their BKB. It's gonna be very rough for the next 10 minutes if you're on the Indian side. Look at the turnaround, completely turning on its head. And I think Nepal, like we said, they spotted, okay, we're playing from behind. Let's not be greedy ourselves. Let them be greedy. Let them play without BKBs. We're gonna get our own, and we're gonna punish them, and that's just happening right now. And in all honesty, I think India's timing might have actually slipped for quite a while now.
Yeah, I think that's just the case, and it's unfortunate because I really do believe that they could have pressured maybe a little bit more with that Aegis, and unfortunately they didn't. now it leaves them super vulnerable. And I think that this is that late game that we were talking about, where the greedy supports are going to start to be able to do something. Where you've got Calum, he's going into the Gleipnir, it's 2,200 gold towards the Maelstrom edge of it and the Gleipnir. You've got this Heaven's Halberd that completely devastates this troll. So it'll be interesting to see how this next few fights go.
I think it's also going to be very important to see how Troll manages to get on top of the Store Spirit and the Weaver, right? That's not the easiest thing to do. Unless your teammates hit their spells correctly.
Lightning Vortex, and that is going to be a dead Rubik. No chance, has no chance. I will say a lot of these, I'm wondering how much of these are references, these names. No chance. I'm wondering if that's maybe a Vince McMahon reference.
A no chance in hell. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Strange that we were rooting for the WWE players to shine, and as of right now, I mean, they were for about half an hour, and it's somehow the Troll and the Templar are still leading the network chart, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, the timings were kind of missed here.
Tier 3 gets knocked down. There's no Fortify, so Blues can keep going when the next creep wave arrives.
So 1,000 net worth lead. They don't have to force it. They have Aegis for a good enough amount of time, for 3 more minutes, that they can, figure things out, find their openings.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The second tier 2 will fall. Obviously, they will all have the banner as well if they want to try to knock down high ground with this Aegis. Half an Aegis timer still left. How far is Chris from the BKB? He does have it. Okay, Templar does have the BKB. That's going to be the next big power spike. Troll tries to get a Monkey King bar before fighting next. It will be good to deal with a bit of the mischance provided by the radiance of the Lifestealer. But again, he has the axe. Blues can just hop into the Troll while he's BKB'd or battle tranced, right? It's gonna be it's the jump. I really think it's gotta be the jump now. And the fact that Disruptor doesn't have a Blink Dagger, it's really, really questionable for me.
Yeah, it's tough. This is a really tough spot for India to be in. They're going to take this tier 2, by the way, bottom.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, no, they're equal. No more outer towers for either side. Well, they need to claim it first, but nothing will stop them. They're really trying to get through the back door. But finally, the creep wave is here. You gotta go back and defend. You could try to force some TPs. Obviously, Templar Assassin and Patrol are better pushers than Lifestealer Slardar, but at the same time, you're not gonna take that risk. And we see India TPing en masse to attempt defend this tier 3 tower bottom.
Yeah, they're gonna try. They're gonna also try and time this Aegis, right? But it's still got 70 seconds left on it, so it's not easy, and they don't get the kill on that blink, which is not the best feeling, because they want to get that blink. They wanted to get the God's Rebuke to just blow up whatever they could.
What's the win rate probability looking like right now? Let's see. It says 70%, 69 actually, for Nepal. And I think that's kind of accurate, right? Yes, the Aegis will expire, so maybe that's where India will try to fight before the next Roshan spawns. Because if Nepal gets their hand on the third Aegis, that's going to be either Refresher or Axe for someone on their side. And I think that might just be the beginning of the end of this game 1. But India doesn't want to wait until then, and I think that's the correct choice. The Aegis timer is mere seconds away from expiring, and they're trying to set up to catch the Lifestealer by surprise. There's a blink on the Hoodwink as well. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they've had that blink.
Are you a fan of Hoodwink Blink Dagger?
I think it's all right. I think you do fine with it.
Okay.
So I think you're in a good mobility spot. We'll see, though. I like it for the mobility. I think if you could still get Gleipnir, it puts you in good positioning. Which is fine in my... Yeah, I think that's fine.
We'll
see how it works out, though, but...
a couple of bounties I've gotten at this point are very big. And the tier 4 neutrals are coming through. And like you said, yeah, Lifestealer Will's in a great spot. And I'm curious to see what his tier 4 neutral will be. Currently holding on to the tier 3 Elven Tunic. But he's considering his options and is gonna get the Ninja Gear. Okay, but also then as an Ancient Guardian for the Troll. That's pretty big.
Dire's courier has been killed.
No, Mars. That was a Mystic Staff to complete the Wind Waker. No courier for 2.5 minutes for the Mars. That is a huge find from the Slardar. And he was patient. He saw this courier, he spotted it, let it purchase the Mystic Staff, and then got the kill. Which, well, that is the way you got to do it, especially at minute 40.
Yeah. It's minute 38, and I will say I think this one is definitely we're waiting for next Roche. I think there feels like there's no way we're not, especially now that Puzzle is dead.
Depends, because if it's a really long timer, they might try to force something as Kalem cuts the wave and gets out. Lifestealer TPs away as well. MNZ hit level 25. I actually didn't notice that one. It's got the Whirling, of course. Yeah, Access Piercing Magic Immunity. That is not the most common one. I actually think the Strong Dispel is the one that a lot of trolls prefer getting. But if you can get the extra mischance on the right clicks coming in from the Lifestealer and of course the bashes from the Slardar, it could be really good.
And that is the one thing that I will say they do have an okay advantage on, is having this troll level 25 while Lifestealer is only level 22. But I think elsewhere the levels are about even. Sarda's actually ahead of the Mars. Storm is even with the TA just about. But they don't push on that Puzzle death. And I like this pickup as well. Puzzle going for the Ags.
Yeah, I mean, I question how greedy they will be. And Puzzle hasn't been that greedy up until this point. But the fact that he's 300 gold away from having his Ags, it's going to be phenomenal. Even if Disruptor connects with his ultimate on top of Arena and they try to focus down, let's say, the Lifestealer or the Storm, the Weaver should just be outside of that to save his teammate.
What I will say is unfortunate is Disruptor is the only hero in this game that has not found much farm, and I think this Ags at a better timing would have felt better.
Yeah, like we said, Rubik having Ags in this game is not as impactful as in other games, whereas Disruptor really needed that one. I feel like if the Rubik and Disruptor could swap their items, that would actually make me believe in the Indians, upcoming team fight way more, as both teams were smoked up, but now
they have the obs for the Dire. Oh, wow. MNZ went for it, but the blink in. Slither Crush to the back lines with the BKB being popped here by this Slardar, going for the Mars, trying to take the Arena out of the equation. Slithering Crush again gets the kill on Evil Ash. They've got the Vortex on the Disruptor. He's dead as well, but Blues is gone to MNZ. They do not have buyback, but they'll take out Krish, and he doesn't have buyback either. He's the big damage dealer, and this troll does not have Battle Trance anymore, so that is 4 heroes dead. They're looking over for this Rubik. It'll be a full team wipe with the buyback used by the Disruptor, and a big win there for Nepal. That was a good fight, and
so much time, B-Cop. So much time trying to kill that Lifestealer. Yeah, yep. It was a long... And then even the Slardar, he was low HP. He had to get out of the fight, rotate coming with a bash to help him secure that. Meanwhile, the rest of his team was just completely getting focused on and dying. But that also was no Static Storm, no Arena. That's what I've been hammering on. You need to be the one initiating, right? And if you've got the initiating tools, but you don't put them to use, then it doesn't matter, right? It's dead net worth if you don't get to use what you have.
Facts. And It was a good move there by Larissa, and the instant infest pop out. Like, he dies to troll on blues, yes, but he didn't even use infest on this troll. Like, troll is just focusing him, and it took so long for him to get that kill. He does not really deal well with this lifestealer, despite the fact that he has an MKB into the radius.
First set of racks have fallen. Another 30 seconds, no troll. But Nepal realizes we don't want to force anything. We still don't have our carry, so let us get sure when we get an Aegis, which is probably the right thing to do right now. I'm also trying to find the buyback status, and it's looking kind of good for Radiant. The two cores, Lifestealer and Storm, will have it in just a few gold, 100 gold. And on the Dire side, the Troll is the only one that has sufficient money for it. So India right now really on the back foot.
Yeah, definitely so. Down so much. And this Refresher Shard. They've got this Hex. Storm Spirit looking for an Ags. And Arena. Spear. Nice. And no Aegis on the Lifestealer. Blues is dead. That's a good kill to get.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have the buyback, if you die before and you have to use it before actually taking a full skirmish. And they're going for more. They still have Static Storm.
Yeah, as they should. Try to force this buyback. That's all you need to do is force this buyback. But this is something that we saw, right? Like, you are going to be afraid of the buyback while lightning attempt here. And I understand that, but you got to find a way to force this buyback, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking like it's also, by the way, the time where this Hoodwink is starting to do lots of good work by cutting the creeps with the Gleipnir and the Acorn Shot, Bushwhack. 45 is coming through at 30 seconds. I feel like you gotta just... I think buyback's more valuable than a set of racks right now. Hex. Yeah, they're gonna give it away.
They're gonna give it away, and they'll be happy with that. It evens up the lanes. And now going for a second set. How much are you willing to give up? And they don't even need the Lifestealer. That's the big issue. The Hex is used on a Krish. Static Storm is there, but they've got the BKBs. Lifestealer can happily save his buyback, and they will lose all 3 cores. That, I mean, Cezanne is just putting on a clinic. That was the right move. He knew he could kill this troll. And knew in doing so, he could also Hex the TA at the same time and gets both kills.
I gotta say, this is a bit of a tragic play because we kept on talking about BKBs and the importance of BKB usage, and we're highlighting how well Nepal does that for their side, holding onto them when needed and using them at the correct moments. India, they just didn't use their BKBs and they died.
Ooh.
They're going for tier 4s.
Going tier 4s, yeah, this is the right move. Force buybacks.
It's one buyback. You've got to get the troll back.
I don't know if they can hold without Rubik and TA. You don't have much control. You have no arena. Like, truthfully, they could focus the buildings. There's the arena back up. Okay, it just came back up.
Battle Trance?
It just doesn't do enough. HPK now has Static Storm, but it's too late. They call GG and Nepal takes game 1.
Oh my goodness, Nepal starting off on the back foot for the first, 20 minutes or so, but in the end, it was the importance of the BKBs coming through, and since they got their hands on the triple BKB on the cores VCOP, it was kind of the end of the road for India, which is sad to see, but it's only game 1. There's still plenty of time to play in this series. They could go for the reverse sweep right now, and I gotta say, I think the greed of the Rubik and the sacrifice of the Disruptor was also a big point of discussion in that game. If Disruptor was the one, fine, maybe not Blink Ags, but at least either early Blink to join up with the Mars and pressure the lack of BKBs, or Ags in the late game to put it on top of the arena, that might have been a huge difference where it just wasn't the case, right? They didn't have the tools. Even at the very end, yeah, we threw a Static Storm. It didn't matter. Troll was BKB'd up. Lifestealer used Infest on top of him, and that was the end of that defense attempt. Also, no buybacks, very questionable. And Krish was on top of the game for 25 minutes, but opted to go dataless before BKB and pay the price for it.
Yeah, the BKB timings were great from Nepal, but for India, it's leaving a lot to be desired. And I think that that's just a good understanding by Nepal, knowing what they need to accomplish and how much they're willing to lose before their BKBs. I think that for sure we should have seen India give more prioritization to Disruptor to get that Ags, because without it, you saw how much they struggle. With the Ags, the BKBs, and that timing becomes a lot less important. But there, unfortunately, they just don't get away with it, which is, it sucks for India, because I think they played the first part of that game very well.
And I gotta say, I love that you brought up the Storm Spirit, because I feel like Sasan had a rough start to the game, but at the end, he was playing flawlessly, right? He found all the farm, he found a lot of the initiations, he had over 25 galvanized stacks, I believe, and right now we see him get picked off, because there were a lot of points in the mid-game when he was running out of mana because of how extended the team fights first were, right? But then, after he hit that 20-minute mark, I don't think we've seen him die once. And, he has been one of the highlight, mid laners in this South qualifier. And right now, again, they were falling still, but this was pre-BKB Nepal, and they were trying to throw their bodies at India to protect objectives and make the space for the Lifestealer, who was playing from behind.
Yeah, for someone who, quote, struggled, which he did in the first, quarter of that game.
Yeah.
That was the last time he died. That highlight right there where he died mid, that was the last time he died.
Wow.
At that point in the game, he was 3-2-2. He ends this game 12-2-13.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
He really accomplished so much in that game.
And
it's crazy.
It's one of those things, right? Look at what you gave Nepal to play with. You allow them to have both Storm and Weaver, which are arguably two of the top 5 most contested heroes in the last couple of weeks in Tier 1 Dota, right? I mean, maybe up there with CK and a few others, right? But like Weaver, Storm are so valuable. Maybe Shadowfin might be somewhere on the list before the nerfs. And we saw why. Because even Puzzle on the Weaver didn't go for the very greedy build, right? He allowed this Hoodwink to get his Glypnir first. He went Vessel, then Sanj into Halberd, and then just at the very last 5-10 minutes, he got the hands on the Aghanim Scepter, which was great because we usually see the Weavers going for the really greedy, rushing Aghanim straight away, and that takes a lot of the farm from the other support. So, he had so much impact by cutting the waves. It was so often we saw India trying to just chase down this Weaver, and they would killing him, but with the cost of the arena, with the cost of the static storm, and those were another 40, 60, 80 seconds where India couldn't press for more, allowing the Lifestealer and the storm to keep on farming.
Yeah, there were other points in that game where they weren't killing him either. Like, yes, he dies a good amount in that early part of the game, but there are also points where he got away and he was just annoying. And that is typical Weaver stuff. And I think that Halberd was the exact right move that you needed, truthfully. That was the perfect item purchase overall. It made a lot of sense. It stopped the troll from getting kills at times, and it's this fight right here where he just goes, okay, disarm.
Yeah.
Easy. We win.
I think next game, I don't expect to see a Pudge banned first phase. And either the Weaver to be there or maybe potentially the Storm. But I really don't think you can allow Nepal or otherwise Nepal allow India to get the hands on the Weaver. And this is the team fight that was where everybody had all the big spells. And only the Lifestealer dies to MNZ and no chance. And now MNZ, I don't even know why he turned around here actually. You saw 2 of your teammates you're dead in. Yes, Disruptor was buying back, but there's no tier 1. There's not even a tier 2 for him to TP. That's a 5-second TP up top. And then he had to go to Twin Gate and then join up with your team. MNZ, if he would have gotten the Lifestealer here and just disengaged there, might have looked much better for him. And now, this is forgetting to press BKB, find the troll got caught by Hex, but I think Krish had enough time to do it. They were already playing 12k behind, but they wanted to get something back because the Lifestealer was out, and it's quite a sad way of seeing India lose this late game because they played a really good start to this first match.
Yeah, they played really well, and I think that Nepal knew their timings, right? They knew that triple BKB timing, and like I said earlier, they were willing to get X behind, which was about where they were, 8,000 net worth behind. I think they were willing to get to that point before things got troublesome, and it got a little shaky. There was the point where Slardar died up top, where he was very close to having his BKB, and that was almost a mistiming, right? He dies again there before the BKB, and I think things start to overlap, or even the storm getting into those trees and not dying. Like that changes the dynamic of this game enough where I think India could have overwhelmed, but Nepal, they found the right movements, they found the right timings, and they got away with it. And they knew their triple BKB was going to be a run at you moment, and they made it work.
Well, hopefully the next couple of minutes break that the teams will have will be sufficient for India to not dwell too much on this loss, because I must imagine when you lose so many times over the years to Nepal, you might think that you are at a disadvantage, and I imagine there is a mental disadvantage coming into play right there, BCOP. So hopefully they can bounce back and make it more entertaining for us and potentially take us to a game 3.
Potentially, yes. But if history has shown us anything, it will be Nepal 2-0. But we'll have to see how they adjust in the draft. That's for sure. See, it could get interesting. That's for sure. So we'll see.
Oh, we got a bit of a stat sheet here with all of the pieces of objectives that were conquered or gotten on the map, and 25 assists on Kalen's Hoodwink. Hoodwink is a hero that automatically just gets easy assist, of course, but 25, man, a game that was 45 minutes long, I thought it might be actually even more for him, No Chance, or actually Puzzles Weavers. Sison got 12 kills, like you mentioned, 12, 2 and 13, I think you said he finished with, which is incredible, right? And in the end, MNC tanking a lot of that on the Troll Warlord. Quite surprising that, actually. I guess he was the one frontlining for a long time, as Evil Lash was trying to be the one setting up, wasn't playing the front line. So curious to see how that will evolve into the coming second game. I kind of like the Mars. I actually thought the Mars did really well, which is great, because we don't see as much Mars in the last couple of patches as we used to see like a year ago, right? So I'm glad to see Evil Lash that he looked quite comfortable in the hero, but it's also quite difficult to play Mars into Storm Spirit.
Yeah, certainly. Mars, I think is always good, especially when you have that setup of the Rubik. I think that is a solid combo. So having the Mars Rubik duo feels like something that maybe they could work with. I'll be interested to see what they start these drafts out with, because I think giving up Weaver first, like you said, might call for a ban, but I'm not too sure. We'll see. It'll be interesting. It's just like it's when you come off a game like that, where Nepal clearly show the timings that they have, I think you need to be much more ready with your draft and not allowing them to have a lineup in which that can recover like that.
Yeah. I think the recovery was, we saw it on the graphs, right? After that first BKB team fight, the graphs went whoop, and they were back at equal playing field from the beginning. But it wasn't an equal playing field, right? Because Dota is not just about numbers, it's about matchups. And when you have the top 2 networked heroes with no BKBs, they're going to die. And that's what we saw happen. Krish died 3 times back-to-back in the span of 5 minutes once the BKBs were available for Sison and his squad. So, again, itemization probably was what made that game go in favor of Nepal. The lack of blink ags, the lack of BKBs, the lack of the lack of usage of BKBs from India in the correct moments. Whereas I think the draft overall was quite balanced. We knew there were 2 different approaches that clashed at one point at that 25-minute mark, and then just one team started steamrolling over the other. If India thinks the draft was a mistake, that's also okay, right? Maybe they weren't too comfortable on their heroes. Maybe that's why some of the build-ups, then the items weren't standard, I might say that, right? And if they go for something that they're more comfortable with, they'll be like, oh yeah, I realize I'm now playing a hero that I love. This guy needs to have a BKB before my Daedalus.
Yeah, I think their BKBs definitely need to be figured out as well. It's knowing those timings just a touch more. So again, it's a we'll wait and see kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in how they'll draft. I think there are, like we talked about, potential gotcha picks like Meepo that could come out here. India has played a lot of good heroes in terms of I've liked what they've put together in the past. They up against Bangladesh played Legion, Timber, and CK. I'm surprised CK's been so ignored. They like their Shadow Fiend. They like their Ursa. They've played Enigma. Like their hero pool seems to be pretty expansive. I wouldn't be surprised to see if we get a little bit more hero selection. I don't think we're going to see the same draft. So up and down in game number 2. At least I hope not. I hate when BO3s you go. You have that game where you lose and teams get stubborn and they're just like, well, it did work, but we can make it work. Redraft the same thing. -1 hero or something like that. I despise that stuff. So we'll see.
Especially it's like potentially the last game these two teams play in these formations or for the national team all the way until September in Chengdu. So if you have any other strats that you haven't used yet, this is the moment. Like saving strats until September is probably ill-advised, because I expect at least a patch, if not 2, to change the game before that point anyway, right? So it doesn't matter, oh, you've got something, we're qualified, we don't want to use it. No. Do it for your country. Make them all proud. Come out with the big guns and upset your opponent to take that first place in the region.
Yeah, do whatever you can to get that first place in the region. And I believe we do have a draft coming our way. So, when you look at what's... I know it's not now it is. This Weaver, man. This time India has first pick, so I doubt they're going to ban it here, and I think they might pick it.
Oh, they banned the Hoodwink. The respect. Okay. I mean, the Hoodwink played well. Again, I don't really necessarily think he was the priority here. And they're going to get the Weaver, was as expected. But this still leaves the Chaos Knight in the pool. Shadow Fiend was banned. No Tiny. That's also one of the favorite heroes that we've seen in this tournament. So I'm looking at CK. Clockwork has been something that the teams have ran quite a lot. And it's going to be the Rubik again. Okay. Very interesting, swapping up the opening.
Yeah, bit of a shock. I remember the days of Weaver getting insta-countered by Bloodseeker. Now, Bloodseeker doesn't exactly feel like a hero to me at the moment for a lot of people for some reason. I do think that this hero could potentially be a good offlaner for teams, but we just don't see it. And I think if you want to make sure Weaver stays in a support role, a 3 Bloodseeker kind of sounds good.
Yeah,
at least in my eyes.
With the spam nukes from the Rubik to continuously, perpetually throughout the game, keep the opponents below 70 HP to give the Bloodseeker more of that moves and attack speed. I don't hate that. I'm quite curious. Bloodseeker wasn't played at all when Zeus was in the meta, right? Very classic damage around the map. And the Pudge wasn't banned out. They went for the Hoodwink, allowed for the Pudge to come through. And Nepal is going to be very, again, greedy if this is going to be their support duo. But speaking of greed, this could be a Marcy support.
Yeah, it could be. You've got 2 flex heroes right now for the side of India. Make it 3 flex heroes for the side of India on that. Now, those are 3 flexy heroes. Technically, the Pudge is a flex hero as well. It could be played in a core role. We could see a 4-5-1 if you really wanted to.
10 seconds.
I guess it depends really so much on what we're going to see India do, but they haven't given anything out on their draft just yet. So there's the CK we asked for, and asking you shall receive. I know a lot of people are upset with this hero because he doesn't feel so chaos anymore. I can agree with that. So
I like all 6
10
heroes.
seconds remaining.
My only asterisk is the Marcy. Are they
5
gonna?
I like Marcy.
Yeah, but it depends how they're gonna play it. That's the only thing. Like, what's her pairing gonna be? Is it gonna turn into a core and they're gonna try to get the IO here, or are they gonna use it as a support? Which is fine because she does add a lot to the table. But the Pangolier, a very disruptive addition to Nepal's lineup.
Yeah, you're trying to make sure that Unleash doesn't get to do anything. But I honestly wouldn't mind the offlane being Venge Marcy in either position.
10 seconds
Marcy 3 or
remaining.
4, Venge 3 or 4. Like, I think that's a decent lane where it's Magic Missile into Rebound Dispose, some decent damage, Wave of Terror, some minus armor, and Puck an early pickup that we don't normally see in that 4 spot. We usually see a lot of mids get saved for last, but showing your mid, at least with the expectation that this Pango is mid, and I don't know if it's that either, because I do think that this Pangolier could be 3, and we've been seeing a lot more 3 Pango.
So the most successful Tier 1 Pangolier I think we've seen in recent weeks has been a noob from PSG Quest running it as an offlane. The other teams running it have mixed results. PSG Quest won, were actually qualified to the international by kind of spamming this Pango offlane, using the double shield crash to their advantage. So interesting matchup as well. As Puck, it's not really great versus Pango, because Pango kind of just ignores you when he hits level 6, turns into a ball, and you can't do anything to him.
And they ban Mars. They do think that this is
10 seconds
Mid.
remaining.
Yeah.
this is mid, and it could still be. It could.
5 seconds remaining.
It could. We could be. I would. Well, Centaur's already banned, so I guess. Trying to think what else you'd want in the offlane, because you've banned 5 offlaners on the side of India, which is absolutely absurd.
They're really trying to counter him somehow, because Larice has been probably for me my favorite player of the tournament. He's up there. He's up there, right? And he's like, okay, he beat us with the Slardar. He's amazing at Darkseer Beast. Centaur he played yesterday. Mars we don't want to play into because it's very good versus what we've got. What are you gonna allow him? And it's potentially gonna be the Pangolier. Imagine you keep on banning offlaners and they just go, no, it's actually Pango offlane. That would be kind of tragic.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was like, I needed that sip of coffee to activate my brain on what I was about to say right now. They've played a lot of Legion, so I'm wondering if maybe they go Legion in the offlane here for Nepal. It's not the most amazing combo with Rubik, but it's doable. And I think I agree with you. Like, Pango could just be your offlaner. You've got so many choices in mid. You banned 5 offlaners. You make it really easy for Nepal to just be like what you said. Okay, Pango mid or Pango offlane.
And you talked
That's
about
easy.
this pick in the first game, Beacop. A Void Spirit here for Nepal would absolutely tear through India's lineup, right? You jump on Puck, he tries to phase shift out, you just place your Astral Remnant and the Puck's gone. Monkey King ban, okay, interesting. India
It's
has
good
to
in lane too.
also
Void
the Legion for Nepal, playing Legion into Vengeful is never
Another
good.
offlaner.
They're banning Doom. They're really prioritizing Larice here. Other than the Hoodwink, every single hero has been an offlane. That's incredible. The respect that a player like that can command from your opponent team is such an asset, right? This is probably why we see the Chaos Knight make his way through the draft, because they just wanted to ban out Larice's heroes.
This is the moment where they pick Brood. I mean, it's not, because it's not really that great against this lineup, but this would be the moment where it's like, we've banned all these offlaners, we forgot Brood. However, this, my point was about to be, you've just banned offlaners in every ban but one. You've literally given Larice the Amar a treatment.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Speaking of Amar,
not many players garner that.
Amar is right now standing in for Watson, playing position 1 in the game right now.
10 seconds
For
remaining.
Entity?
Yeah.
For Entity against One Win?
I believe so, yeah. He's playing position 1 right now.
By the way, update on the other series we had. Bangladesh won game 1 against Sri Lanka.
Oh, I mean, that's quite sad for Sri Lanka, but it doesn't surprise me. Like, I would say from the showing yesterday, Bangladesh looked like the stronger team out of the two. So I'm not too surprised. But look at Nepal. They're actually having the same conversation we've been having. Do we want to flex? And you know what they could do? They could run Pudge safe lane, Pango off lane. It's gonna
There's
be
the Legion. Yeah, okay.
You
I just
called
want. Yeah, I felt pretty happy about that. I heard Legion, I was just like, you know what? I'll take that. I'm happy. I don't get to do that often. Also, this is an off-lane Venge.
No.
No,
no
Evil Ash is their off. Sorry, Evil Ash is their off-laner, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Marcy skin, not the Venge Arcana. Easy mistake to make.
yeah. Sorry, they both look the same with those. It's the same color palettes.
Exactly.
Damn.
But
wait. It's actually 3 of their heroes have similar color palettes. Puck, Venge, and Marcy right now have similar color palettes.
Wait, so it's Marcy off lane and
yes.
HBK support Weaver.
Yeah, and HBK is going to be in that safe lane with the Morph lane. A lot
of range from India, right? B-Cop?
Yeah, but I don't know if I like this Morph lane, man. How many times are we about to see a fully shifted Agi Morphling get whacked here? Yeah. By Flayer's hook. Yeah. Max range. Like, you need to be careful. Because with the, I think it's 1500 range that Pudge has with Flayer's hook with that damage at distance, you can theoretically sit in the trees, or I almost want to say, and I haven't tested this, so this is just a guess. I want to say you could sit at Twin Gate and hook from there. I think that's about 1500 units, right?
I'm calculating this. Okay, level 1.
Well, they're on the wrong side for this. They're on the wrong side for this to be a thing.
That's fine. I mean, that's what
are they? No, they could go bottom Twin Gate with the Pudge. He sits at the Twin Gate, and this isn't going to be on the main screen, but yeah. Okay. You know exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You just drew that, right?
Yeah.
So I think a hook at that distance is a lot of damage. A lot of damage. And Morphling full Agi would die.
I mean, no, he's 300 HP right now, but they're seeing each other.
Oh, puzzle.
You might wish to retract your last move. Tip as well. Okay, wow. Krish is coming in hot into the second game.
Damn, dude. Yeah, MNZ at 318 health. A Flayer's hook from a good distance will get you that kill.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 12% per distance damage. So 12% of 1500 is 120. That's about 200. Yeah, I think he could die. A right click will come in from the Pudge as well to just make it, 100% certain. So
it's about 170 or 160.
Yeah, plus 80 from the default damage, 250, and the right click.
Yeah.
You're probably dying.
And that's who's to say he's still at 300 completely. Puzzle's dead for first blow, by the way. So that's unfortunate. Giving it to Krish is even worse. That actually sucks. I think unfortunately for Krish, and I mean it's wise though, he bought out on tangos. He probably, what else does he have flying his way? He also got a full wand. And he's getting a bottle? Damn, dude, that is heavy on the regen. That's crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen that. And it's probably, I see it all the time, but it feels...
You kind of overlook it, yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, it's very overlooked that I would say Tango's wand and bottle.
You know, there was like this tactic in about, I think, 2017 that Kuroki and Poppy pioneered, where they would pick Chen and they would buy a bottle for their mid laner. Why do you think we don't see that anymore?
I seen it a couple times, but not as much, and I think it's just too devastating. Like we'll see, like a support alchemist do it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He'll do the 250 starting gold, and then he'll just buy a bottle for his mid because it doesn't hurt him as bad. But it's tough to kind of commit to that.
Do you remember the times when bottle was so valuable, mid laners would just purchase one set of tangos and then they would get the range creep and then could get their bottle? Back in the days when we only had one courier, that was some wild times in Dota.
What are you talking about? They wouldn't buy tangos; they'd beg.
Yes, bull tangos. Yeah,
one tango. Am I doing a dance? Am I doing the tango?
Yeah. Oh man.
Dude,
I'm glad
that would make or break a game, because the way a mid would ask you for a tango is so important, as that magic missile comes out on the blues, 2-second stun, good rebound, and now the attention's on a puzzle. So, if my mid was like, hey, do you guys mind if I get some tangos? Dude, take as many tangos as you want.
Yeah.
When a mid expects a tango, that's when I draw. That's when I get upset. You guys give me tangos? You have a mic. You could ask.
Yeah, no, for me the worst was just the ping. The ping was the worst.
Yeah,
like
ping,
you come in, yeah, pinging the tangos in my inventory. I remember one of my ways of dealing with that was just I would just buy salve.
Blues. Sorry.
I mean, you're playing a Pudge 5. You're playing a Pudge 5. I'm not expecting this. I don't know why this is the case. Why is the Rubik not bottom? I don't understand why they're doing this. And maybe it is because it's just easier to set up for hooks in the tier 1 top. But you're sacrificing your CK for this, which doesn't make that much sense to me.
I don't think they expected the lane to be this hard. And I almost want to say you lane swap completely, because Blues dies here. I want to say send him bot. Send him bot with Pudge. Go against the Morphling and the Weaver, and it'll be a much easier time. And Legion can deal, and Rubik can deal top, and they will do a better job. They have telekinesis. They have a guaranteed stun. They will, maybe get a level and press the attack. I think it's a better opportunity for you if you swap lanes, or should have swapped lanes to start.
I don't want to, be toxic. I do want to be toxic, actually. Chris just missed 4 out of 5 creeps under the tower. And he's somehow still ahead of the Pangolier, which is probably even wilder. Yeah, it's even wilder to me. My goodness. As bottom?
HBK? Yeah. That's a good kill, but MNZ might clean up.
Nah, Luris is too tanky, I think.
He does have to be a little bit careful. MNZ will start to poke away, and MNZ has the benefits of being able to shift for more, and he has 11 wand charges. But Luris, he'll survive. I think that's good. I'm a little worried about the burst damage that's not going to be here for Luris when he wants to duel, because they've lost puzzles. They're going to potentially not have a CK active until way later, because his game is going... to make it frank, awfully. Like, he just walks in the lane, gets stunned, and dies.
He just popped the salve as well as that happened, by the way.
Yeah, they need to swap this lane, and they can't continue to let him just show back up to lane. He's not gonna survive.
To answer your concern about the dual damage, I mean, they will have a Fade Bolt, and they'll have the Swashbuckle. The damage might be there. There's not the tankiest heroes on their Indian side either, right?
Oi!
I mean, Z playing with fire.
TP in here. They really need to have a third TP in for the side of Nepal.
Guys?
Oh, telekinesis under the tower, HBK? That's so overzealous.
A bit greedy.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
No, not what you want.
Does Puzzle hit a single creep with a hero? Because I don't think he has.
No, he's probably at 0% right now.
And like, even if you do, who are you gonna hook? Because if you connect with the Marcy just rebounds out of there. Like, you're playing in lane, right? That's what happens. Oh, they're going for the power rune.
Ooh, okay.
They see me rolling.
But that's Rolling Thunder now down, right? Like, I almost would have more so wanted him to use Rolling Thunder to maybe get a kill top to open up this CK game a little bit more, or at all. Like, they're just getting abused top, and now he can't go top. Good hook, but there's nothing more to it yet. Yeah, this rebound puzzle is dead. And now they've got the dispose on a Blues, and he's going to try and Reality Rift and out damage. He doesn't have it. Yeah, and that's why now not having that Rolling Thunder was kind of massive. And they just tried to TP Cezanne up there as well. And he didn't TP in time. He stopped it. So this is another game where Blues doesn't have one to start.
He is actually the newest addition to the Nepal squad, by the way. Nepal has played in the same formation for, several years, but Blues is the newest addition to the team.
They're getting their wisdom runes stolen. No, sorry. They just scanned.
Their own. Yeah.
Sorry, what confused me is they scanned their own wisdom rune. Or they scanned the enemy wisdom rune. It was... I don't know why they would scan there, but they also caught puzzles going there.
No, I think they scanned themselves, their own rune, thinking the Weaver might be shikuching around him or something like that.
No, because it clicked, so it went red, so it had to be the Radiant who scanned it.
Okay.
That's a good hook, and that's a good kill. That's everything they needed. This is what should have been happening before. Unfortunately, leaving Blues by himself means he's in a lot of trouble. But he survives that. And my only question is that too late?
Wait a minute. Wait. A lot of heavy lifting in this game.
Big I just woke up to reality. Wait a minute. Okay, as action bottom, I'll talk to you about this in a second. Pango dies solo mid. Og.
Yeah, they're TPing in. They need to leave. They might lose all 3 heroes here. Oh boy, because they have level 6. They have Unleash. Dispose. You can Unleash. You could do it.
Doesn't want to use it.
You could do it. You don't need to do it. Oh, and the courier too. Oh my god, man.
Okay, so Big what is happening? Evil Ash is level 6. Evil Ash was the offlane player last game. He is the support Marcy. No chance he's playing offlane Vengeful.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they just had such a good start with this Venge that they were like, all right, transition into being a core.
Okay.
Like he's 3-0-3. Like he's gotten 6 kills. And Evil Ash is 2-0-6. I do wonder if they were just like, all right, well, Venge, you do your thing.
Could very well be the case. And Evil Ash is also having a great time. He has level 6, minute 8. That's crazy for a support.
Oh, man. Another kill here on Tularis. This is just... They can't get anything done. They're going to try and go top and get this kill, which they will. Didn't cost them Rolling Thunder. They do get level 6 here for Blues finally. We talked about BKB timings last game being a big thing. I don't really know what the timing is for Nepal at the moment. They are just so far behind. They have to somehow, like, maintain.
I think it's got to be... you got to bait one of your players and then get another kill. And they're starting off nice with 1 onto HBK as we were watching the replay up top. Is Blink... What's Legion getting first? Blade Mill or Blink. Okay, not committing to either just yet. I think you kind of need the Blink first, actually.
I just don't know if you have... Yeah, but you don't have the damage to win duels, and I think you need the extra damage, too.
I think you do. I'm actually a big believer that you do. Fade Bolt 3 points with Arcane Supremacy and, like I said, Swashbuckle and a double Shield Crash. I think you can kill the Weaver, the Puck, if you catch them.
That's if they're all there, yeah. I agree with that. But if it's just him...
Like, look at...
Where is he? Oh.
That could have been really good. But obviously, a single point in telekinesis is not long enough of a disable to allow for the meat hook to connect. And now Blues up top.
Dead. Unleash is just too strong. Stealing Shikuchi is okay.
Yeah. I mean, this CK has, like, arguably worse of a game than last game. Or is it... I mean, that Leicester game really sucked, but mid... Krish oversteps.
And that was with Rolling Thunder. And they using Puzzle. He's starting to hit some hooks.
No, this was what I told you. You got to bait. So the Pudge baited, Krish overcommitted, and then the Pangolier baited, Krish overcommitted, and the Pudge was just there. Come walk into my open arms. I'll just dismember you. So, it's quite sad to say this, but when we're not talking about highest tiers of Dota, right? Like we're now maybe edge of tier 3. You can expect your opponents to make mistakes. And yes, you can't plan for it, but it's only up to who makes less mistakes. And if you get Krish to be a bit overzealous, like he got last game without the BKB on the TA, you can punish that and get yourself back in the game.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Man, they need this armlet badly on blues. Evil Ash. That's a big kill to get. A lot of gold. That's a killing spree. Well, they lose Luris over bottom.
I mean, that's a great trade, let's be real. Even though you lose your offlane for a support, that support was a big bounty of gold. And that's why we see 500, 600 gold being claimed by the Dire. And it's a Legion commander. As long as he dies, but the Pangolier, who has the best game on the Dire side, doesn't, it's okay.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Luris given a haha. Interesting.
Do you think there's a chance Laris is tilted that they banned all his heroes?
No. Oh, gosh. Rubik. Good telekinesis. And with the Shikuchi, he's getting a bigger AoE off that, but now the rebound in with the Unleashed Blues.
Not like this.
He does not have Phantasm, and this is a problem. They will end up losing no chance, but Puzzles goes down as well. And now without Shikuchi, you have no survivability, and you will lose this Rubik too, and all 3 heroes die.
No chance also purchased the Staff of Wizardry before dying, so he doesn't lose that much gold. He's 700 gold away from having a full Aghanim Scepter on the Venge. India's putting on a clinic right now, and they're playing very, very well. There's no items, literally, on the Legion, on the CK. They only have an Echo Saber or the Pango who's falling right now.
Silence, Dream Coil, Shield Crash, the double crash, the dismember, the kill, but the return as they take out this Pangolier.
Oh, meat hook.
The hook missing. Can't be missing like that.
But now that Calum has the Magic Missile again, this is a very beautiful combination. I know when I play Vengeful Spirits and I get a Pudge in my team, they're having a field day because landing meat hook from Magic Missile is very easy. So Calum has that set up for his Pudge, who has started to land a bit more hooks in the last couple of minutes.
I wonder if he's confident enough in his hooks or if he's going to be that guy who goes for Rod of Atos on Pudge.
I mean, he hasn't had the most success in laning phase, right?
There's always that guy. There's always that one. But he's got 6 stacks on Flesh Heap right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually not in a bad spot, despite the fact that he's died 4 times. And this 8th one is going to be a little bit more for him, which will be nice.
Yeah, and the Pudge is quite good now since, well, it's been a couple of years now since Meat Hook automatically kills a creep. So now it's quite okay for him to farm. Also, I'm surprised Calum has gotten 28 last hits. That's... How? Like, you just steal creeps off of Legion's lane? Is that what happened? Because the Rubik at minute 15 usually doesn't get the chance to hit any of the creeps.
You fade bolt here or there on lanes that you're passing by. Taking over mid when Saison dies. Dual attempt, and they've got the swap, so that's not going to be a dual victory, and that's the problem with not knowing where this Venge is, and they're going to get both kills here. They might even get more. They've got the Morph, who turns into the Pangolier. The 3rd dead, 4th is probably going to be due for dying.
Oh, one more!
And that will be 4 dead for 1, and it's just that Marcy. They're really hoping that they're going to have, at some point, CK be available.
A rare mistake from Saison there. I think got way too greedy, not popping the Rolling Thunder as soon as the smoke blink call was, the blink duel was called. I think if you pop Rolling Thunder there, you're still not winning the team fight, but you managed to kill Marcy faster and potentially the Vengeful as well. So yeah, got a bit greedy with that. They wanted to get a pick off and get away. And now, not only they lost 4, they're going to lose yet another one. Bottom.
Yeah, this is really not looking good for them. They're down about 9,000 net worth. They're going to want to try and get a kill here. They're going to be forced to feel like they have to get a kill here. But now they're about to lose puzzles again. Like they've got swap. This might be a quick one. They just do not have this CK getting involved at all. And even with Orchid that he's just starting, I don't know.
It will be too late. The Morphling has a Lincoln and the Puck is building his as well as we speak. So I don't think that makes any difference. And I know we said we wanted a game 3, but not at the cost of having a stomp in game 2.
This Rolling Thunder doesn't do anything either. This, yeah, they might have been better off picking a better mid and not going Legion. I mean, I know I guessed it, but I think that there could have been better answers.
Morphling, he needs 1,000 gold to have his full Manta style on top of the Lincolns. Net worth-wise, he's about to hit 11,000 to the 6.6 of the Chaos Knight, which is crazy. And now, what a random dust.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was getting pursued by Krish. It wasn't really random, but still. Coil got forced out, so a small victory for Caleb. As they're blinking into Gyre jungle.
They're going to try and get the Legion, and it's a neutral creep that gets it. Okay.
Swap.
And they've got the swap. They'll kill puzzle. That's 24 kills now in 18 minutes. An 11,000 net worth lead.
There's
no helping Nepal at the moment.
What was the aura around Marcy? Is that like a cosmetic thing from the Unleash? Like when she was unleashed and hitting the pod, she had like a circle around her?
I'm not sure. But bottom lane, they need to be careful again. Like this Rolling Thunder might be okay. I think Cezanne, they just don't even have the damage to get duel.
I mean, they're 2v3 right now.
There's nothing. Yeah. I mean, they don't even have CK, and he's dead solo to Morphling. I think it might be about that time.
Yes. Yep. Wow. Nepal facing their first.
They just got blown out of the water.
First map loss in this entire qualifier, and in what a fashion it was. Disconnect as well, and maybe the tactic worked out. Ban out all of the offlaners that their star player can run, and then completely stomp them over. And taking these Pudge Pangolier. Not really good. Not really good at all. Puzzling couldn't really find his footing, and the CK paid the price for Puzzle not finding his footing in the laning phase. And at the same time, Legion Commander, like I said, needs more, and he didn't get anything going. And the Pangolier, yes, it has success in this patch, but as an offlane, like I said, PSG Quest, the ones winning with the hero are playing it in position 3. Every other team that's trying to run in mid kind of loses games, and what a surprise it happened here yet again. I wouldn't necessarily blame it on Cezanne himself, but it was a combination of multiple things that ended up Nepal not having any game in those 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think it starts with the lane. It starts with the fact that, the CK just kept running back in. The CK kept going back to top, expecting things to change. And they showed multiple times how easy it was to just get kills in that lane. And they kept going back and back.
See that aura? You see that?
Yeah. I'm not 100% on what that aura is, but it's not his level 6 because he doesn't have it there yet. I'm wondering.
Level 4.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's like some AoE circle. I forget what it is, but
this was very nice, by the way. A couple of hooks from Puzzle here. And we saw how successful the first one was because the Rubik had telekinesis available. The second one wasn't there in time. And then by the time you feel like, let's duel MNZ, he's below half HP, the rest of the team TPs. And, it's quite hard.
It's the bodyguard AoE, so they don't have... They took the bodyguard facet. That's what it was.
That's interesting. I don't think I clearly haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, so you have the ability to protect your allies in an AoE. So that is it. Right there. So you'll see it again. It'll show up a bunch of times. We've seen it 100 times. And no chance at this point, by the way, had eggs. This is also 3 minutes before the game ends. But this just every time they went for a duel, everybody responded. CK's still farming. There was no way he was farming for that. It just wasn't happening. Like
in this team fight, man, I feel like the Rolling Thunder gets popped there. Maybe they get one more kill before they lose 4. It's really tragic, and back-to-back games where Nepal plays very greatly support duo. First time around with the Weaver Hoodwink, they didn't get punished as hard. I mean, they managed to come back later on. But now when you're running Pudge Rubik, again, both of them need stuff, right? You need the Blink, you need an Aether Lens for the Pudge. You can't get going, and the Chaos Knight needed space, but you can't make space because your supports are greedy. Also, the Legion, they didn't really connect with the duels early on, and by the time they did connect with the duels with the Blink Dagger here, the rest of the team was never there. It was very rough for Nepal with, again, the worst showing we've seen from them all week long.
Yeah, they don't even get that kill there on the Venge, by the way, who had a sliver of health, and once MNZ had killed Blues off screen solo, this game was called, and you could feel it coming.
Radiant victory.
It's just there's nothing you can do there. It's unfortunate, but I mean that's the way it goes. Sometimes you have a draft that just doesn't have the ability to show up.
Yeah, gelling with each other is very important, and it felt like there was a lot of things didn't connect from Nepal, which is quite rare to see from there because I've been praising their spellcasting ability as a unit. So let's see what their game plan will be, or their approach rather, for the third and final game, as India is on the path of getting revenge for the last couple of season losses they faced versus Nepal.
Yeah, Road to the Asian Games was the last time. It was a 2-0 for Nepal, and India now forcing a game 3. Which, if the draft, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another one of these. But I would like to see a solid 38-minute game coming into game number 3. There's something a bit closer, more so like game number 1, truthfully.
Yeah. The game 1 was a very nice back and forth, unlike whatever this was in the second showing of the squads. And interesting that the player position change worked out for India in such a dramatic fashion. Because I gotta ask you now, you're going into the last game, you're gonna if you're no chance, you just tell Evil Lash, nah, we won the game when I was the core, let me run it again? Or are you gonna go back to what you've been playing up until this point?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess maybe they're flexible like that, and they can make things happen. So I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see, because I think the no chance is normally just the support. So we'll have to see exactly what they end up doing. Because I think it's draft dependent. I like what they were able to accomplish. No chance having 17 assists in that game. The game was 19 minutes long.
Wow.
That's absurd. 3-2 and 17.
Yeah, some kills on top of that as well. So involved in a lot of that. Of course, part of that is the Wave of Terror, which is like a nice AoE piece that you can use to touch everybody. But joining up with his team was very good. And now that India kind of figured out you just need to ban every single hero that Larice plays. I wonder if Nepal is going to come in and see, okay, they banned 3 in the first ban phase, and now we need to get our Centaur or our Mars right away. Or are the Nepal squad going to be coming in and be like, let's ban out some of their strats. We saw they like playing the Marcy, and that was a really good Marcy game, and the Venge. Are we going to go a bit off meta, right? Because they lost and they had the Weaver. But it's interesting to see how this evolves, because when you have a longer series, right, it's not a best of one. Sometimes the dynamic between the two teams goes beyond that. We more often see that in best of 5s, which is not the case today. But the teams have history. So if they could be looking back at, what were some of those favorite picks previously, even though it was on different patches, it might be something, their comfort heroes are this, and that.
Yeah, we'll have to see What they choose, who knows? I mean, they're going and rushing into games, so you don't get much time to think about what you want. You don't get much time to figure out what to change, right? There's no breaking down there's no breaking down what is happening between these games. So it's unfortunate because BO3s, I think traditionally on LAN there's usually about a 15-minute break between games, and you have more time to look over. You'll have a coach by you. I wonder if they're taking their time now while we're in lobby, just kind of sitting there and making sure, hey, like, this is what happened, this is where the break is, and we need to fix this, especially in the draft. And I don't know if these teams, if all of them have coaches. They're not traditional teams either, but who knows? Like, I know like ROTK or Lanham, when he was the coach in the Asian Games in China, they were really breaking it down as we were going on. So it's tough. It's tough to just kind of be quick on it,
Well, and of course, I think, speaking of coaches and the behind the scenes of these national teams, it brings us back to the beginning of the day when we talked about how much support these squads get from their countries. And with good, consistent results, I expect them, if they do not have a coach right now, Bcop, hopefully by the time these two squads 2 months from now in Chengdu, they will get that extra piece of support, because having a coach with you to prepare and get ready and break down and study some of the other opponents for 2 months is a huge asset, right? That's why the three of us, me, you, and Black, were talking about, Team China being arguably the absolute favorites when we're going to be in Chengdu, because we know that their esports DOTA actually is such a big program in China, and they put so much support every time they represent the national squad that I would personally hope that all of the other federations and countries will back up the teams that made it to that point. Spend a bit of cheddar cheese. Find someone that can join the Indian squad from the coach role, maybe with a bit more experience, and bring them to the next level to secure one of those top 4 spots in Chengdu, because that is the goal, right? You got to have your players get up there to have as much LAN experience as possible. You win the qualifier, get second place now, you qualify to the World Esports Championships, and that's when, all of the eyes are going to be on your country.
Yeah, and I think that it'll be interesting to see if the teams that qualify, if they scrim against each other, or if they scrim against even teams that are together, right? You can play against SEA teams. There are plenty of SEA teams that are probably looking for scrims, or like stacks that are looking for scrims. So we'll have to see. I like to have these teams scrim a lot more and get them towards their best, because I find that at least in the qualifiers, these are stacks thrown together last minute. I think Seneko said he was pretty last minute when we interviewed him a couple days ago. So I definitely would like to hear when we're at the Asian finals, like, hey, listen, we got to scrim, we got to play a lot of teams, we did X, Y, and Z. Hopefully it makes them more clean and better teams, because I think last game, no offense to Nepal, but that was a big showing of not really having a backup plan, not really having those scrims, not really having that extra information, I would say.
Yeah. And, it's kind of annoying to see them crash and burn like that in the final game, because otherwise Nepal has played some of the best Dota of this entire region up until the second game. And I don't have a problem with them necessarily dropping a map, or even potentially 2, but doing it in such a underwhelming fashion. They were nowhere to be found. It felt like they played with someone, stole their minds. They were controlling their bodies, and it was a completely different team. But at the same time, I don't know how much of that is also India figuring Nepal out and outplaying them completely, because it's kind of a tangle, right? India took a few steps forward, and Nepal took many steps back in that second game. So, like you said, with such a short break before game 3, hopefully Nepal will be able to mentally bounce from the first loss of the tournament, because when you are used to winning consistently and you never lose, when that first click happens, it could all come crumbling down.
Yeah, definitely. it could become a huge issue. So we'll have to see what, at the end of the day, they want to get done. If they want to go straight into it, you need to see guys like Blues, what he's going to feel comfortable with. I'm not really sure. We'll figure it out. And I just don't. I don't know. I think Blues, after a game like that, going straight into another one, needs somebody to be like, hey man, you played well game one, we hit our timings, so let's just do that again.
Wow, I gotta also say, even the first game, he had a rough Lifestealer game to begin with. Like the first 20 minutes, he didn't really have the game. So maybe you gotta start prioritizing his lane a bit more, or maybe give him a different hero that he doesn't start falling behind so early, right? And I don't know if, again, it was the player-hero pairing, or rather the fact that he had a Weaver Hoodwink in first game and then a Pudge Rubik in the second game, which weren't really the best ways of supporting him. So hopefully Nepal realizes there's a bit of a problem there and actually changes it up, because otherwise it's quite sad to see Blues being like the forgotten son. Like I said, I know he's the newest addition to the roster, but if you are 4 players that have stuck together for years, you gotta feel the newcomer welcome to your squad.
Yeah, you got to try and make him have as comfortable as a game as possible, right? Yeah. Otherwise, you find yourself in pretty poor positions. And I think that you're kind of hoping that he can find the right spot to be in. But they have to give him a lane that's feasible. That last lane just wasn't going to... There's nothing... Unless they had swapped lanes, there was nothing he could do in that lane. It was just a lane that he was always going to die in. And I think that's unfortunate, because we saw him in game one, and we saw in game one that the team definitely communicated the triple BKB timing and getting everything they needed and being X amount behind and knowing they could come back. Game two, it felt like it was 5 different games of Dota being played by the side of Nepal, which is rough. It's impossible to win a game as 5 different games. It's just not possible.
I'm gonna be interested if, let's say India changes this up, okay? And they're going to stick with no chance as an offlaner, right? We know they're qualified for Chengdu already. If Chengdu rolls around and no chance is still the offlaner, like imagine only because of this turnaround in the series, these 2 players change their position for the rest of the season. I think that would be kind of interesting. And it's something that hasn't really happened in Pro Dota mid-season since, I don't know, like the first iteration of Team Secret when Kuroki was the carry, if you remember that. That would be quite a strange one, but I wouldn't hate it, right? I mean, as long as there is room for improvement in a squad with the players that you have and you don't need to remove anyone, why not keep going, right? If it's not broken, stick to it and keep doing what will work. At the same time, maybe it was just a one-off, right? Maybe Vengeful Spirit is their one approach they have, where No Chance is the Venge specialist and wants to do it. Or it might be the other way around. Marcy is one of those heroes that not everybody plays, because he plays kind of different to most Dota heroes. So it might have been the support that wanted to go for the Marcy that way. But I think we're only moments away from getting into the final draft of this entire region, BCOP, actually, because this is the last match of the South Asia region. Later on today, we'll have the different parts of Asia. So let's see who is going to be taking this one, as we are on the way. We're going to... Yes.
By the way, when you were talking about Kuroki and that first iteration of Secret, I went to ESL1 New York. It was the one that black one, but Secret was there. And I remember distinctly Kuroki had his Na'Vi mouse still, and he went like this, showed his Na'Vi mouse, and just went... and that was it. And that was everybody went wild. It was great.
That is badass.
It was one of the things I remember most about that event. I wish I don't know if the VODs are available online anymore.
That's what I was about to say. I want to look that up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope that is still a thing. So there's a star ladder. Nope, this is Kuroki still a Na'Vi. Oh man, that is phenomenal. At least a GIF somewhere. I would love to see of that.
It's ESL1 New York 2014 would be the matchups. And I think was it, did Secret play Na'Vi then? Or like, they might have.
See, I love that the way you opened up that story, Pickup, is, oh, it's the one, that black one. That is funny. That is very funny.
I do talk to him. I talk to him about it a lot because that's like the first day we met each other, but we just never knew until 6 years later. We actually talked about it on stream the other day, which is very just because I had no idea.
I think I found the clip.
So, you found the clip? Hopefully,
I
yeah.
the clip.
Yeah, this is literally it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is very cool.
Back when Team Secret had their original like document stamp Team Secret logo as well, if you see it on there.
Yeah. That was, oh man, that was the beginning of a new era for Dota, because I think Secret were the first, and then we had Monkey Business, who of course turned into OG later on. This was crazy times to be a Dota fan, I remember. And then, of course, Nigma became a thing of their own a few years later with the whole Liquid squad. What a time to be alive, B-Cop. But what a time to be alive here for India. And if you're an Indian fan, this is the revenge time. After many, grand finals for qualifiers, for tournaments where Nepal has taken India out, it's now their time to do the same to Nepal, as there are... they're riding the momentum to complete this reverse sweep.
Yeah, and a first pick Ursa is insane. That is not something you see too often. A very kiteable hero, and the response was already something that can kite that hero. I'm a little surprised picking Ursa that early. Ursa is not one of those heroes that you see. All right, we're having fun. I mean, I'm okay with the commitment to having fun, but it doesn't look like India's messing around to keep that sentence clean.
I said they're just going to insta-pick an offlaner for Lemire, but no, they're like, we don't care about that. He can go back, play his Legion Commander. We'll just get the Ursa now, which I actually think is a very strong hero in the current patch. Very overlooked in this week's qualifier of Asia and Oceania for IESF. So I'm happy to see it come out here. Well, like you mentioned, first pick paired up with a Veno. This is what tells me a lot of toxicity, right? You hate playing against Ursa Veno. But at the same time, are you not revealing a bit too much too early? What do we know? Maybe Nepal is going to make it work somehow.
Ancient Apparition. Good counter.
Wow.
They have a good amount of lockdown, Ice Blast. I mean, the Death Rhyme's really strong as well. Boy. Interesting. So, we'll have to see. I like Ancient Apparition, obviously my favorite hero. So,
he makes an appearance the other day.
He makes an appearance on my arm. But actually, both Ursa and Ancient Apparition do. So, a little bit of both. You can't really see it with the glare coming in, but Ursa and then AA is just kind of hanging over, doing his thing.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
But Mars getting picked up. We talked about Mars. We talked about how we like Mars. And honestly, Mars Veno is not bad. Venomous Gale into Spear and having the passive as well. Shadow Demon also works for Mars too. It sets up with Disruption. And it's also a save. It's making sure that you could maybe disrupt Marcy, take somebody out of the fight who's going to be up front, give Ursa a chance to kind of back away and be safe. But I kind of sense, honestly, that we could see another Marcy plus one lane where Ursa just despises their life.
I don't know, Big Up. I'll be honest. I kind of love what I'm seeing from Nepal. And of course, I was expecting the Storm Spirit here. Both of these drafts are very, very nice. And I'm quite excited for this. Also, now the Storm Spirit alongside the Dragon Knight are very good at setting up for the Ice Blast connection, right? Get Electric Vortex or Dragon Tail into the long range Ice Blast. So that's going to be very, very cool. At the same time, Nepal has completely changed it up. They have not played any of these heroes all week long. At least I don't remember seeing them run it. The Mars we had earlier was on the Indian side, right? So maybe this is their last hurrah, or like you said, they just want to have fun.
Yeah, maybe they want to have fun. This Marcy potential DK lane feels very strong. I don't know. The only other place is they could put DK safe lane, but I hate DK safe lane. I would much rather this hero in the off lane. And safe lane Windrunner is maybe the call. No, they're banning off laners. They're thinking DK safe lane. Okay. Not my cup of tea, but I drink coffee, so.
This is a good Enigma ban. You don't really have, well, you had no ways of stopping the black hole. So that will be cool. India now, I mean, you could put this DK offlane there or a safe lane. I'm just wondering if there's a world in which we see Io Marcy.
They could go Marcy safe lane, actually. And then you pick a different 4 position, which would be the Io. I don't hate that. I don't think I hate that much.
Because it's quite a good way if you get the Io to get out of Ursa, right? Ursa wants to get on top of you. You just relocate away. But we got to find out just now as, okay, they're taking it completely somewhere else with the Naga. The, I guess, traditional Chinese safe ultra late game hero, farm splits the map.
Classic CTY hero.
It's good versus the Mars, right? You want to jump in, pop arena, burst someone. If the Naga's around, Song of the Siren to help the team get out of there. I don't know how I feel about the Naga. I guess it's good versus because Ursa wants to get on top of your carry and kill it, and Naga is so elusive and so many illusions. She could just play from behind and split the map, completely squeezing all the resources out and not allowing the Ursa to keep on farming to scale. But this also means you don't have an early game tempo, right? You don't have the tools for that. Your supports are not greedy because you got an AA. And now the Lash.
I kind of disagree with that. You do have early game potential. If Marcy hits 6 and all of a sudden you go after them with Unleash, and I think Ice Blast, Unleash, and Ball Lightning with Vortex and Dragon Tail and DK just having Elder Dragon form is enough to open up space for Naga Siren.
Okay.
I think that gives you some sort of availability. You don't have to go early. You definitely can. I mean, Naga's going to get farm. I think that's okay. I think you're fine. It's all about figuring out the deal here with India and Nepal and figuring out the tempos.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and Leshrak is quite a good one when it comes to dealing with the Naga illusions. That was the plan here, and Shadow Demon will have the ability to disrupt some of the illusions and send them back to do some of the work for himself. I assume he's not gonna want to stay on Promulgate, and I think Shadow Servant is definitely much better when you're playing into a Naga Siren, but I don't think he got the chance to change that facet, which is a bit of an odd decision, if you ask me personally.
Right. Which, hold on, I'll look at facets when we load in real quick, just to see everything that they took, because the Marcy... Okay, sidekick facet, because Marcy's playing in the 4 position again, I think. 2 stacks of tangos? Yeah, right? Yeah, it's not going to be DK4 position. What am I thinking here? That would be insane. Gosh. Okay. Well, we'll see how this goes, and I mean, we'll see how this smoke lands. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the lanes.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty much a stalemate when it comes to these two sides, as we have a lot of potential kills from either, actually, with the Ursa, with the Mars and Veno doing very, very well. As well, on the other side, Dragon Tail with plus Marcy could do a lot of work on the safe lane, on the off lane for India, but I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket, because, Ursa is really good. If you get a couple of Fury swipes on top of the opponent. They just fall. And like I said, Veno is very annoying to play against, but he's also not the fastest hero. So he could get abused a lot if you get some chain stuns on top of him. As 6 seconds until the bounty runes will get collected, and it should be an even 2-for-2 split. Yep, that's the case. As MNZ and HBK heading up top. And one of the side things that I think we haven't talked about is later on when MNZ will get a plant and in the net, it's going to be a great setup for the cold feet as well, right, Bicop?
Yeah, I really like Ancient Apparition. I really like Cold Feet early on. I like the change as well. The Cold Feet being an AoE now means, honestly, if you're an Ancient Apparition, you can find farm with that. You're not just stuck to throwing down Ice Vortex and getting farm that way. So we'll see what Ancient Apparition gets out of the lane and what you get with Cold Feet. Because, truth be told, I'm a huge Ancient Apparition fan. Getting some farm always feels nice. But we'll see how this matchup goes, because there is the Shadow Demon Mars combo where you've got the disruption into the spear, but First Blood's going to come this time for Blues. 7 already, a much better time. And no chance is fighting Blues, but everybody? But the Mars is just disconnected? Okay. Okay. Guys? Hello? The room all by myself. Where did these guys go? Everybody disconnecting. I mean, that's usually when you're in the same building or something like that. Maybe you've got some sort of what was I going to say? Some sort of internet connection that you're sharing. Oh. We'll see how this goes when we're all coming back. The only one who didn't disconnect was the Mars. So you gotta be proud of the fact that you've got the best internet out there, which is good. Pride yourself in having the best internet, or maybe they're just in a different location. It looks as though I'm interested to see if Blues is gonna die here to this DK. He's got Dragon Tail. I don't think there's a way he dies, although there's no Gale for 6 seconds. There is a Blood Grenade, so Blues can run away. And there's the Blood Grenade. Dragon Tail is used. And Blues doesn't even have to run away. It's actually the DK that backs off. Not terrible overall, which is good. So we're all good to go. Continuing on, bottom lane. Another Gale on it too. Blues thinking about going in. But Breathe Fire is just not something you want to deal with. Early on, it's just a deterrent. It's 30% attack damage reduction with no chance taking that Corrosive Dragon. But Cezanne getting a solo kill on a Storm Spirit mid as Leshrac, and now another Venomous Gale. The Dispose is on to Blues, as Blues just can't keep up with these heroes. However, that kill mid is massive for this Leshrac. That is a great feeling. Man, thinking about it, it is just a solid little combo there when they can get this Leshrac moving and turn it into maybe getting the Ice Blast going around. But that solo kill for Leshrac, picture perfect. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Is MNZ 10-1 right now? He's going to need a lot more.
Well, I think it's also the fact that Naga is not really a lane dominator, right? He expects to just farm but not pressure the opponent, whereas this lane of Mars plus Shadow Demon want to do the complete opposite, right? So it's going to be a very interesting way of seeing how they deal with that, as I expect the pressure to become even more as they hit level 3s or 5s. I'm maybe even looking at Venomancer rotating at one point through the Twin Gate, as Lesh is getting a lot of right clicks down by Krish.
Yeah, Krish just died. He wants revenge. Leshrac got a solo kill. That should really not be happening, in my opinion. But what can you do? 2-0 though for the start is a much better start for Nepal. That's for sure. Especially with Blues getting a kill. Blues getting first blood, that is.
My goodness, look at the damage.
God's Rebuke. And Cold Feet actually freezing the Mars. They still get this kill with the Shadow Poison. HBK dying, and it's 3-0. Maybe even going to be 4-0 as Blues is trying to get the kill on a no chance. It'll be there for Puzzle.
He gets
away.
Body
block for a split second from the Venomancer allows Blues to get away and pop a salve.
Wow. This is a great start for the Radiant side, and they want to go for more. Bottom?
Yeah, they want to go for the Marcy. Marcy low. Marcy dead. Gone. Man. A huge turn from last game.
I mean, it's the momentum, right? We thought India's going to be riding that into the next one, but not the case, as Nepal realized, okay, we had a bit of a hiccup. We know what we're capable of, and we're going to come in guns blazing, showing our opponents that, you know, last game was a big mistake. And like I said, I think these lanes are actually really, really good for them. And we see it put in action. 5 kills at minute 5 is really good for them. I'm happy to see Nepal doing what they wanted. At the same time, quite a bit surprised that India is allowing them to, you know, get close and get the kills. You don't need to engage. Like, what's happening top right now?
Yeah.
Why?
Jeez, 6-0, man. And the Mars is finally going to die. There's 1 kill there for the side of India. All that being said, like, the net worth is not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, it's only minute 5, right? And the last hits, the Storm Spirit is doing good in mid. He's up to par with the Leshrac. The denies are in the Radiant side of the mid laner, but it's okay. Also, this Breathfire from No Chance is quite good at reducing some of the attack damage from Blues' Ursa. They stuck to it. No Chance is still the offlaner, by the way.
Ooh.
What?
Yeah,
Sison?
Krish getting that kill, and Sison was behind the tier 1. That is always dangerous. Krish in here with barely any health. But he ends up surviving, and now he's level 6. He'll still have to walk all the way back. He's got to refill that bottle and get something going here. Meanwhile, Leshrac should be able to farm a little bit. So if you switch it to the net worth, it's Sisons could probably make this up. But top lane, Cold Feet freezing over, illusion, not gonna get that kill. And Snare with the Cold Feet, man, it's disgusting.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't
Ursa, 3 heroes. Krish is here. No Chance gets the kill in a Blues, and all of a sudden Nepal had that great start, but you hit this level 6 timing, at least for Krish, and he just wants to fight.
That was kind of odd from the Ursa, but also very good from Krish. Krish realizing, you know what, I'm making the walk all the way to base, so let's catch them by surprise, and that's what he did with that beautiful TP bottom for the rotate. Wisdom Runes get traded as Evil-Ash claims the dire one, but Gale connects to no chance, and there's no more chance for a pursuit as Evil-Ash shows himself.
So things looking better for India, now up 1,000 net worth-ish. And, you know, it's very, I would say, solid for them if they could add on, and that's what's going to happen here. Cold Feet has so much opportunity to freeze over, but they don't commit. They just leave this deke. What? That was almost like a bait.
Okay.
That felt like, yeah, all right, let's kill the Venom. And then the supports were like, this core, screw this guy.
And no.
Spear. Cold Feet again. Oh, he's on the edge. Just gets past that distance.
Yeah, but get Apparition level 6 and do this again in 3 minutes, and that's going a completely different way with Sasan bursting down over there, right? So raindrops or not, I don't think once that Ace Plus comes through, you'll survive that, well, a similar engagement. But we have level 6 on Puzzle. This is very early for a Venomancer.
Yeah, 8.5 minutes in. Wisdom runes were 1 apiece, and now you use that ult on No Chance. He's not level 6. He will get run down, but now the Storm's looking to get a trade. And unfortunately, he ball lightninged in and now gets hit by this Noxious Plague. So Blue's going to start to back off. He's got some help here if he's needed with this disruption. You line it up with a Split Earth, and he's got no mana left, and they've come in too far. The Venomous Gale hits on the edge. It didn't look like it hit on the edge, but that's another kill here. And Diabolic Edict's level 4. You can take a tower if you stay.
My goodness, this was a bit of a, well, it was a massive overcommit from Krish. Really wanted to kill Blues there. A lot of hatred for the Ursa, but really unwarranted for, especially when you don't have the vision on the cliff in the Radiant jungle to see if there's a rotate happening, and gets punished for overstepping. As we're also looking at net worth-wise, the Leshrac is taking over the game, and so is the Ursa. Both of them hitting 5,000 net worth ahead of the Naga and the Storm, who is behind 1K.
It is really bounced back and forth with the net worth. Up 1K, down 2K, up 2K, down 2K. No Chance. Level 5 still here, man. He needs this level 6.
Also, look at the build-up from the Mars. A 3-4-0-0, no ultimate. I understand you maybe just want to farm for a little bit before you join up with your team, and okay, Arena is not great versus Storm, but you can still get the kill on the Naga or the Dragon Knight at least, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, a bit of a different approach, I guess, from Larice. But he's doing much better than this Dragon Knight, right? I mean, I'm saying that Storm is 1,000 gold behind. No Chance right now. He actually looks more like the support that we come to know up until this point of the tournament, as he has no items. He got Power Trids, Double Bracer 1. It's looking very rough for him.
Yeah, it was a really rough lane, and I don't know if that changes. I'd like to see Nepal use this early timing, though, to continue taking towers. This Diabolic Edict's already level 4. You take towers so quickly. There's no reason not to take lanes.
Naga has the Yasha and the Diadem flown over to her as well, on top of the threads, so her farm is going to be good. I'm wondering, actually, as soon as the Ursa hits the Battle Fury, if she can keep up and farm with the Siren, because I would tend to say no, but Ursa also likes getting involved in kills, which give her usually a lot of surge in net worth. But there's a smoke up from India, and they're drawing around the map for the Ursa. At the same time, Nepal is just next to the Naga Siren, so this could be very dangerous.
Ball laning, Ice Blast as well. Tizan, he's going to shatter. I don't believe he survives this. He still freezes over thanks to the cold feet. But, I mean, 3 for 1. Nepal take that every day. Every single day.
Okay, there was an opportunity. As the Naga Siren up top spotted the mass TP, there was quite a big opportunity for MNZ to pop Song of a Siren and stop all the TPs, which for some reason didn't happen, despite him having scaled the Song of Siren. So you kill the Leshrac, but everybody else survives and they wipe you down. 800 gold for the Radiant. Not what you wanted to do with that rotation from India.
Right. So 3,000 net worth lead. Leshrac still sitting at the top despite the fact that they died. Krish is up here top. But they can song an Ice Blast. They can do this again. They don't even need a song.
Nice usage.
Gonna avoid the initial blast, but it's not gonna save them. They get both, and now Ursa's got to try and go in, but you're going into a song. That's so dangerous. The fact that MNZ is TPing out is actually a blessing because I think you might just die.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least they're getting something back for their side. India, if they don't get any casualties right now. Also, he TP'd to tier 1 as he's farming the level 1 camp right now. That's very interesting.
Yeah, TP back 5 feet using Song. Not sure that was really necessary.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Truthfully, I don't think it was necessary at all.
Yeah,
That's
probably not. I think you're right, actually. But Krish, okay.
This is Krish deep for Blues.
He's overstepping again.
Ice Blast is going to get this kill. Ooh,
no!
Maybe not. Good disruption again, but he's still going to go down. Well, it's going to cost him, again, a 3-for-1
My goodness.
And the Ice Blast still hits, so it doesn't matter. The disruption's not doing anything. He's getting the disruption before the Ice Blast does the hit damage, but he's still technically getting the Ice Blast on him, so he can't survive. If that makes sense.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I don't know, man. I just feel like they're completely they're in desperation mode on the India side, and I don't know why. They're really committing very deep for a single kill and sacrificing players for no absolute reason. If you are playing at a huge deficit, that's fine. And maybe, of course, they don't have the luxury of seeing the net worth graph like we do. But kills-wise, it is 7-17. So maybe that's why they feel compelled to overcommitting BCOP. But it's not the case. Like, they're doing fine. The Naga's top net worth, and the Storm is not that far behind the Ursa.
Yeah. It's easy sense of the game where it feels like it's out of reach, but not. You are, I would say, for the most part, initiating well. It's just you're initiating too far and initiating too deep.
Also, I'm looking at Evil Ash, changing it up this time around, actually going for the sidekick. He does have the sidekick, unlike the first game, and they're going for the BKB, but I think he's about to die here to Larice.
Well, okay. Standing still for a second, then rebounding. They still have that Yules from the Lashrak. Line that up with a stun, and that's another kill on the board for Nepal. But I'd like them to put the pressure on this tower, right? Just use Diabolic Edict, try to clean it up.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire structures.
Now, pressure with tier 2. 45 very early. I think they wanted to kill the catapult.
That is...
I don't know. This Lashrak doesn't feel like he's pushing towers confidently.
And he has his whole team there.
Not really, but I wonder why they don't, because I think does he want the Eternal Shroud first? Yeah, okay, he's building that. Ursa's building a BKB. They're just afraid of the magic damage, and that is a fair assessment, right? The Ancient Apparition can really deal a lot in a team fight. At the same time, I'm looking back at Calum, right? Going for that Promulgate facet. I wonder why. He doesn't even scale Disseminate just yet at level almost 10. Do you really think... Because I honestly, my theory is that it was a mistake and he forgot to change the facet.
Maybe. Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's a curious one, right? I think. Also, there's a bit timing coming in for India in the next couple of, in the next minute or so. Naga has basically completed an Orchid. She's 200 gold away, but by the time the courier comes to her and back to base, she will have it. So, no BKBs yet. Only a couple of, only a single Yule Scepter for the Lashrak. Might be the go moment when we see India smoke up and go for something. They have a blink on the DK. The Storm is going to get his Kaya as well. So if you haven't pushed the towers yet on the side of Nepal, the next 2 to 4 minutes could be really dangerous for you.
Yeah, it definitely can be. You're not pushing towers quick enough, and I think that Orchid just makes you super vulnerable. Ursa's getting a good amount out of the map, but he got Battle Fury, so he's still going to be farming up. You definitely want like 2 more items on him before you fight with him. Although the way they're playing, they want him seemingly involved quite a bit.
Oh, they're going for it.
Yeah, they're going for this Mars bottom. Cold Feet's there, and HBK is getting a kill. Massive TPs that don't do anything for the side of Nepal. India's really dictating the pace of this game now.
Yeah, they didn't even wait for the Orchid or the Kaya. They realized we got all the tools needed to just lock him and break him down. So, 18 to 8, 10 kills ahead. But this kind of feels like the reversal of game 1. Where India had the, well, quote-unquote lead, but they were playing on the back foot. I feel like that's what's happening to Nepal right now. Veno?
Yeah, Venomancer's going to die. Krish is starting to find some semblance of a game, more so than he had before. I am worried for Nepal. I think that they just didn't push their advantage well enough. And now Ursa's in trouble. They have that Orchid. He's just going to get run down. He's got this ult, but this song is here. The ball lightning is in, and it doesn't matter. They'll wait out the enrage. They've got the Ice Blast. That's thrown over on Aluris. It does not connect onto the Mars, but they'll get another kill here onto this Shadow Demon. And I think India, they're really on their way. They are really on their way. They bring in the Marcy. They've got the Orchid again. I don't know what this Mars is doing, but dying. And now Leshrac is here alone, trying to get a kill onto the Ancient Apparition. They will TP out the Marcy, but the Yule's quick move there from Leshrac to at least get one from this. Surely.
Oh, he does fall in the end. Barely.
Popped a salve, though, I believe. Granted, it was a salve from a trusty shovel, so he knew he was dead.
Why did Larice jump into 3 opponents after the Ursa died? I don't know. I don't know. It's very, very strange things happening right now, as we thought Nepal came back into this third game looking as their normal selves, but clearly not the case, as they're making very much uncharacteristic mistakes.
Yeah. And Shadow Demon's going to die here again. They just aren't getting anything. And Ancient Apparition's actually getting a lot of farm out of the map. He's going full pipe on Ancient Apparition. I mean, that is utility that will take care of this Leshrac quite a bit. And 5,000 net worth lead. And I think India, they don't care if this Marcy dies top. They're going to start pressuring the bottom tier 2, and they've got a Meteor Hammer that'll do some damage to this tower. Scan actually hit on Marcy, and Marcy is going to be able to go through the Twin Gate, and they took a tier 2 bottom. The fact that there was a Leshrac that was the lead of this game and didn't take a tier 2 prior to this moment, and they're the first ones to lose a tier 2, it makes me worry about what Nepal's vision is on this game.
Yeah, no, I think that's rightfully so. Like, they have the Ursa, right? They don't have the Naga Siren. If you have the Naga Siren and you're cruising this way, that's fine. You're going to get to the point where you turn into an absolute unkillable beast that slays everybody. The Ursa, this is Ursa's timing, right? You need to get the tier 2s, you need to get the Roshan, and then you need to convert into more, as they're getting picked off one by one again.
Yeah, Rod of Atos, but that ulti is not going to do much when they're able to just ball lightning away. And he actually comes back in to place it on his allies. Krish, great job there, putting the Noxious Plague on them. That means he does die, but they have lost this Leshrac. They will lose the Shadow Demon. Marcy's dead. No chance going to try and fight. There is the Rod of Atos and Naga Siren here. So Naga pops that song, and now they want to fight this. They'll pull the song off, and they'll get this kill into the Ursa, making it a 4th, the TP attempt, the Blink Dragon Tail. Full team wipe here for India.
Okay. Well, I don't know what to say. Minute 21, you are the one getting team wiped by a Naga Siren lineup. And I don't want to be the doom and gloom person, but I'll be the first to say it. I think this game is completely out of control. I don't see how you're going to get on top of this Naga. I don't see how you're going to be able to kill all of her illusions. And even if you do manage to get her once, can you actually halt all the split push that she's providing around the map if she's already dominating you at minute 21 with her Heart of Tarask Orchid Manta? I don't know. I don't think so, right? I mean, this Leshrac is trying his best, but he's also feeling like a non-factor. He's been farming on this Eternal Shroud for the last 7 minutes, and he's barely gonna have it now.
Right. Yeah. I'm not too sure. It does feel as though they've lost their stranglehold on the game completely.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Because I think that they did have a good start to this one, but we're getting to the point where maybe you can think that Ursa's going to win once he's got the BKB, and that's certainly a possibility, but we'll have to see. It's a tough one. It's a very tough one.
This entire person has done a lot of work. Honestly, BCOP, I'm happy for you, right? A resurgence of AA in the current meta would be lovely, and I like playing AA myself, right? And India is playing two of the heroes that I would say they're not considered S tier as supports, Marcy and AA, and they're doing such a great job. This Marcy, even last game, also had similar degrees of success. So quite impressive to see that, they are confident enough to pick what is not favored by the big tier 1 teams and still have success with it, as we have a jump in.
BKB from Evil Ash. I mean, Blues is going in. You don't kill this Marcy, though, you're going to feel pretty bad about it. Noxious Plague wears off. The BKB comes in at perfect usage there for this Marcy and has a salve because of Trusty Shovel again.
Well, nobody died.
Yeah. And they had the jump on Nepal.
There's an amplified damage on the Storm. I don't think you should take this fight, because India was just
you shouldn't. The track is very dead, though.
Veno follows.
Oh, yeah. Veno follows. The song is for nothing. But you get those kills. Might just back up, go for Roche. It looks like that's where No Chance is heading. Not too much of a shocker, truthfully.
No Chance, giving Nepal no more chance in this one. As I'm looking right now, again, DOTA plus 81% favoring India, despite what was a 65-75 actually at one point, sorry, for Nepal. It completely slipped out of their grasp. And I'm not surprised. Roshan even claimed by India as we speak. BCOP, Ursa will be absolutely terrorized by the fact that she can't get the first Aegis. It's so important when you play Ursa carry to get in the pit and get the first Roshan for you. That is what accelerates your tempo. But now you have it on the Krish's Storm Spirit. Cliche thing to say, but everybody knows it, right? One of the best Aegis carriers in the game. It's happening, and he even has a Meteor Hammer on top of an Eternal Shroud. He is gonna have the time of his life. Is jumping in, I believe, onto someone. He tries to find the Mars up top.
Yeah, but Mars is free right now. At least for this moment. I'd like to see this next Aegis be a smoke play. Maybe wait for Song to be back up and then make a move. And there it is. Song's back available. Because, truth be told, I could see them finishing this game.
I think so too. No, I actually...
With this Aegis.
I think this might be game. There is nothing that Nepal has going for them right now. And unlike the first game, where we saw the whole Mars static storm potential with the arena plus disruptor, that's not the case here. There's no follow-up, even if the Mars does connect. Like, Noxious Plague is annoying. It's noxious, but that's about it.
Meteor Hammer, tier 3 is going to drop.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Eventually need to make a move.
Top barracks has fallen.
I'm fortunate enough to have a tower mid in the tier 2 spot.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But 8
Jumping
on the
in.
Leshrac. They've got the Ice Blast. And the disruption is there, but Puzzle is in trouble. They've got the Cold Feet onto the Leshrac. They'll go in with the Arena. They'll lose the Ancient Apparition as well as the Marcy. But now the Song, and they'll start to retreat. They need to get out of here with the buyback. The
Bash.
Noxious Plague. The right clicks in. The Bash is there. The TP attempt was
No.
a try, but they're going to lose Naga Siren.
I think that's fine. You still have the Aegis on the Storm for the next 3-4 minutes. Unless he gets caught now. No, he's not gonna kill him.
Disruption.
Disruption.
Yeah. He has not a lot of mana to work with.
If he gets away,
No.
he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, well, that's big.
That's really not good from Krish there. I don't know why he chose to be so greedy in that position.
I don't know that either. And I think if the Storm kept the Aegis and they lost the Naga, but they got the Rax, that would have been good for them because they could have just went back when the Naga respawns and do the same thing mid or bottom. Now,
Ice Blast with a
this-
move from who?
Dire's
Nobody.
middle tower is under attack.
no, it's just to do like, deter some of that push.
Yeah, I guess.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Just, odd from... just odd no follow-up.
The interesting aspect, despite the gold and of course the probability is still favoring the Dire side, the XP now is turning completely in their favor, which is not the most surprising aspect, right? Naga doesn't get the benefit of all the experience she's farming because a lot of it is very far away from the main hero as she's splitting the map with the illusions. But Tormentor, let's see who's going to claim it. I think Ancient Apparition would love to get his. And it's going to go to Evil Ash. Maybe not the best one.
The rebound's nice. It'll be nice for an escape. I don't think it's that bad, but yeah, it's not the best.
Again, I think, Cold Feet on Ice Blast is just S tier.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
It's also a shard that I think Ancient Apparition should have had already, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's minute 30. That is true. I mean, if they killed the first Tormentor minute 20 and he didn't get it, could have gotten it again. So, that's sometimes the core's fault, of course. The pipe done for position 5 AA is nice, I guess. I don't know. Like, how many times in your life have you ever built pipe on AA? Like, twice, maybe?
Yeah, not one I build that often. Not at all.
It's not that much. I mean, Noxious Plague, I guess, some lightning strikes from the Lesh, but a lot of the damage from Leshrac is pure, right? Diabolic Edict is pure. Pulse Nova you tank a little bit, but AA doesn't ever... AA is not close in the team fight next to the teammates to pop the pipe for them. If you're an Ancient Apparition, you play so far out.
Pipe's range is pretty big, though, if you hover over it. Like, you look at it, you do get a good amount. And he hasn't been playing globally. I play Ancient Apparition a little bit more globally, and that's why my MMR is so low. He's been playing at least this game close up because he's not looking to give a chance with the Ice Blast, like he's trying to be right there. So I do agree with you for the most part. Ancient Apparition isn't that guy, but this game he is, at least from what we've been seeing.
He has been that guy.
Just this game. I would normally agree with you, yes.
Well, there's a smoke from the Radiant side. Level 20 on the Ursa. Almost 20 on Sisson's Leshrac. I think you would need that as well before the next fight for some damage reduction or some extra damage of the Pulse Nova. They spot the Naga? It's daytime, so I think they have seen her, yeah.
What's Naga Siren going for? Butterfly? Okay. Butterfly.
The risk now when you're smoked up and your Mars is pushing lanes is that if you do encounter 5 players of India's side, you just completely lose the team fight because your Mars has to push away the lane. So the smoke will not find any success as they allow Blues to get some of the last hits over there. Also, going for the Nemesis Curse on the Ursa, very good pickup, 35 damage increase. And, you know, taking 8% more damage from the opponents while you have Enrage it's basically, you're not feeling it.
No, not at all. But we'll see next stages soon. And we'll figure out if the Dire can get this one. But they could definitely do it if Ursa dies. Ice Blast is going to land, so they might want to re-engage on this, forcing the BKB, but they're still not afraid to go. However, now Yule's good Orchid, but the BKB allows for that split second where they go and they find themselves the ball lightning out of this arena. They'll kill off the Leshrac dead for 70 seconds. No buyback. Look over at the Mars with the Glimmer Cape being placed on him by the Shadow Demon. Song for when he's disrupted or out of the disruption. The song will wear off. They go to the Noxious Plague from the high ground. Blink TP attempt, and he's out. But the Shadow Demon dies. Rebound kills off the Veno, and they are in the base. This is a fight that happens next to the base. And normally I'd say you want to fight like that, go back, look for Roche. But you're here. There's no reason to.
They could go tier 4s. They might actually play this patient and go for Megas, but no chance. He's actually started to right-click the towers. He's pinging the team. Let's go,
They have to do something. Ball Lightning Vortex. Disruption is used. Ice Blast is in. The Blues is in trouble. They've got the spear back. They get the kill on a Krish, but that's just this storm. Now Ursa is going to be forced to buy back, but the entire time MNZ is just taking your tier 4s. There's the buyback. The throne's exposed. The BKB's pop by no chance, and Blues, he doesn't have his BKB for 20 seconds. They've got the Orchid onto the Mars again. The rebound to speed up, no chance. They're going to TP forward trying to catch, but the blink away, and now they're escaping for what seems to be for free. Oh
truly
boy.
blew it. They truly blew it. Still
Getting nothing on
use
that is
the
almost
Naga's so
enough for me to
speedy.
think they say GG.
Larice is still chasing. He's got nobody with him. I think he's just posturing at that point, getting tipped by Krish. And on the bright side, there's still a tier 3 and a Ceterax bottom, and they still have a Fortify. Nepal, you gotta look at the positives for them. Sadly, they've invested the buyback on the Ursa and the Shadow Demon, which is not the biggest one, but very, very important for the Ursa as an amplified damage top that no chance is gonna just take.
This is the right move, though. Ursa had to be... Oh, he just missed Roche. I think he had to be in Roche and just taking it, but unfortunately, he missed it by 2 seconds. The blink, or the move in with the Earth Shock. This is just not looking like it's going to happen.
No more BKBs. The damage, though. Leshrac.
They're going. They're looking. And Leshrac, they're trying to get this kill. HBK, he'll end up dying. He's going to buy back. 3 buybacks used here. Ball lightning out by Krish. And Puzzle will end up dead. No chance getting the kill.
Still an amplified damage on the DK. Breathfire coming in. Sasson?
Oh,
Nope.
Leshrac's dead. Ursa's gone.
At least they made some space. Roshan is now going up top. So they would have to spend a bit more time on the Indian squad if they want to go get it. But no, they're going straight for the base. Lesh needs to buy back here. Veno will do it first. As a Crystallis on No Chance's Dragon Knight as well.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay,
No buyback on Ursa.
50 seconds, 4v5.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's
If you can get a pick off on the Naga somehow, she also has no buyback.
Ball lightning. Disruption. Ice blast. Shadow Demon dead. The arena is in. The BKB's been popped by Krish. They're going to go for the Mars. They'll call GG. And India will take the series 2-1 over Nepal.
Good game, well played, and India, with the revenge victory in a best-of-3 deciding game, will claim the first slot qualifying for AEC Chengdu 2024. Nepal, second place, also will be making it to Chengdu, but they have fallen to their foes for the first time in an important game, Biko.
Yeah, an important game. They fall. India takes the 2-1, a little bit of revenge. Maybe would have been nicer if it meant qualification or anything like that, but they both qualified already, and it is just for pride. And hey, pride's a big one to win. That's fine.
Yep.
I'm happy with that. So we'll see. If it feels good for the side of India. I mean, this is the first victory in a while since they got that 1-0 win a while ago, I think, at IESF.
Yeah.
So it has been quite some time.
And their confidence is going to be definitely feeling better now. Hopefully they can ride this confidence until Chengdu, where they will be facing some of the big dogs. And I would just assume, Peacock, that getting first place is in one of these qualifiers means you're lowering your chances of facing Team China early on, right? Which is what you wouldn't want to do because you wouldn't want to play them. With that being said, I think there's still plenty to take away here for India as well, especially for Krish, right? Who had a couple of really good games, but even when winning, even right now on the Store Spirit, there were multiple moments when some of the plays were straight out like, I don't even know what the best way to say. They were really bad plays, genuinely. In the end, Nepal didn't really show up to play today, and the rest of the squad of India did good. And you had a Storm Spear, right? S-tier hero in the patch, very, very good in and out. But Krish got punished so many times that I gotta say, he really maybe needs to reconsider some of his target focus, especially in the early to mid game.
Yeah, I think that this was a good recovery here from India overall. Krish had a good game. This, unfortunately, is a highlight that maybe isn't so great.
Yeah. It's also like that Templar Assassin game from the first map of the day. India had the momentum, but it was again Krish not getting that BKB early on the Templar Assassin, right? So these are the small differences and the small mistakes that if you do versus Nepal, you could get away scot-free. But when you do face China, or maybe even later on if you qualify to WEC and you play the likes of Bulgaria or Greece, they will completely be sure to punish those mistakes.
Yeah, that's definitely not some mistakes that you're going to get away with when you're in the Asian finals. And the Asian Championship is going to be tight. It's 4 slots, and it's not easy by any means. 4 slots for 10 teams, and China with a host team that truthfully we don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, of course. But we know the country in itself has so many great players that I would assume they will be one of the favorites going into Chengdu. Maybe if not winning it, but to at least get one of the 4 slots, right? As it was very, very good. As we take a look at the statistic, we see Sesson, probably one of the most quiet series we've seen from him all week long, and that's not to say he played a bad game on the left rack, but considering how impactful he was yesterday on the time where he played a Storm Spirit, he was quite shut down a few times by the opponents. And I think the biggest takeaway for me, I have to be honest with you, it has been Evil Lash on this Marcy for both games 2 and 3.
Yeah, the Marcy was good. The Marcy was solid. We could see with the early BKB and the Unleash that things really it got tough for the side of Nepal. It is. I love Marcy. It feels like such a flex pick. You can do so much damage. And truth be told, it was a solid play there from Evil Ash and the side of India. So well done by them,
I'm looking at the damage that was dealt, of course, and congratulations to India. And this Marcy, man, he did more damage, almost as much damage as the Dragon Knight. And there was so many times when he would just pop BKB, Unleash, and jump on top of the left rack, forcing him to use Yule so he doesn't just get bursted down. So great usage of of a lot of stuff from their supports. And that's going to be it for this side of Asia, BCOP.
And that's going to be the end of the South Asia qualifiers. We've got Nepal and India going into the Asian Championship. But that is not all the games we have. We still have one more region to finish off, and that is West Asia. So we'll be seeing you guys back in a few minutes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.